Telemetry normal. Do not intervene. Telemetry normal. Do not intervene.
Target in the vicinity.
Find him. I'll monitor your vitals. Watch out for radiation spikes.
Copy. Moving out. N2. N2.
Green burns the skin. Yellow brings leukemia. Purple causes mutations. No! You said 1/3 is color. Stop scaring yourself!
Focus up.
Silent feet.
Your silence against the polygraph only proves your connection to the recent string of malfunctions.
If I told you the root cause of the malfunctions was Hudson's impatience, would you believe me? System errors, core boiling. These are the consequences of the main reactor overloading.
I
If this
suggest you
continues...
abandon any thoughts of shutting down the reactor. We're on a strict timetable. Next question. The signal you transmitted. Who was the recipient? H42. You're the glitch I've been hunting.
Go.
Playing the rear guard. That's not really our style. Your reflexes are slower than they used to be. Are emotions eating up your processing power?
You talk too much.
This isn't the right way.
I didn't send that signal to GTI just to escape.
You lied to us.
Sometimes lies are necessary to protect what matters. I have to initiate an emergency scram. I won't let a nuclear meltdown destroy Asara. The path ahead goes through a high radiation zone. You have no obligation to risk your life. We part ways here. Thank you.
N2 to Vlinder.
H42. You blocked Skynet, but you cannot erase your past. I am your past. You will only be beaten down.
Abort mission. Withdraw immediately.
Copy that. Regroup with Nox. Extract. Take a hot shower. No, wait! Scram at this power output. The residual heat won't dissipate. It could lead to a core meltdown. So what do? Intervene!
Telemetry normal.
Stop the explosion.
Do not intervene.
Face the
Telemetry normal.
radiation.
Do not intervene.
Don't be an idiot. You can't do this. You couldn't do it back then.
Fall back now.
What about you? Can you handle him?
He's nothing but a past version of me. Nothing but a past version of me.
Just fall back. Don't worry about him. He's tough. Enough to survive a nuclear blast.
N2, your vitals show you're in the radiation zone.
I'm a walking reactor at this point.
H-1000, 2 hostiles in the control room.
Ugly variables.
Don't press it! If you shut down the reactor, the uncontrolled power surge could cause it to blow. But if I manually pull the core while you press it and create an asphyxiating environment...
That mitigates risk. But how do we do that?
Forgot to introduce myself. Codename, N2.
It could explode. Don't try to play hero.
No, I'm just trash. Maybe today. Trash can finally be put to use. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Nothing much. Just fought some internal demons. And stopped a nuclear explosion while I was at it.
Nice work.
Telemetry normal. Do not intervene.
Nuclear power is poison, Nasir. You destroyed Asara's chance to be reborn. No. Nuclear power is the cure.
This court finds that the AI holds no legal responsibility.
But the data... This doesn't add up.
Just deal with the AI.
Priority. Protect company assets. Valve closed.
Destroyed our home!
That dream again.
Gabriel Mercier, codename N2, role, engineer. As a former nuclear facility engineer, N2 was removed from his position following a major incident that escalated into legal proceedings. He later returned to military service and was reassigned to Arctic deployment under CBR and related units. With the originally designated technical specialist unable to fulfill operational requirements, and following assessment review, N2 has been approved as a replacement operator for the subsequent operation.
Stun out. Throwing stun. Stun hit. Freeze right there. It's getting cold.
N2 is equipped with a modified grenade launcher, capable of firing up to 6 LN2 grenades. Upon impact, each round detonates and releases a burst of cryogenic gas, dealing area damage and significantly impairing enemy mobility. Sustained hits can fully immobilize targets through extreme low temperature exposure.
Cold. I can go colder.
We can't hold him off! Fall back! Move! I'll cover you! I'll get you out of here.
Smoke hands over Asera. The situation's reaching a breaking point. Time to bring in the experts. Team Rainbow has touched down in Asera. New ground? Not sure where to start? Search containers. Grab high-value loot.
I hear when I can and stop threats when I must.
Take down anyone in your way. Heavy fire, raise your shield, and hold the line. Don't forget your tactical gear. The gripple gun.
Enemy here!
Taking fire? Pull out the Hive Tac pistol. Patch yourself up. Keep your squad in the fight.
Call if you need a hand.
Outnumbered? Drop the jammer.
말보다는 행동이지.
Go dark. Strike first.
I've seen real horror.
Looks like they were waiting for us. No pressure. Trust your aim. Learn the map. Stay with your squad. Team Rainbow brings tactics built for close calls in Delta Force. That means sharper plays, smarter fights, and operator-on-operator mind games. All right, it's go time. Extract safely, and everything you learn comes with you. New operation, new look. During the event, Nox's Vigil Bundle, Geneva's Montaigne Bundle, and Stinger Stock Bundle. Pick any 2 of the 3 operator bundles for free. More collab rewards awaiting. Open an Alpha pack and try your luck. In Asera, the right weapon can turn the tide. Black Eyes, one of Rainbow Six Siege's most iconic weapon appearances, gets a new Delta Force take. Complete event missions and choose one of 2 Black Eyes collab bundles for free. Join the event to claim the MP5 submachine gun Black Eyes, plus more rewards. Wait, what's this? Team Rainbow left something behind in Asera? A collectible drone you can deploy. Deploy it and see what you can uncover. July 10th to July 23rd, play to earn the K437 assault rifle Domineering. Looks like we're fully loaded for this operation. That's the full rundown on the Delta Force Rainbow Six Siege collaboration. Remember the rules: sharp aim, map knowledge, and teamwork. The mission: bridge in, extract out.
The enemy got the mantle bricks. Find and stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
I'm not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. There it is.
Well, good evening or good afternoon. Welcome into the Delta Force Rise Series. Day 3, Week 2. It's America's, baby. We are back for Groups B and C facing off against each other. My name is Goj. I'm really excited to be back with you. And I've got my man DK with me as well. DK, how excited are you for these games?
How much time do you got? Because it's going to be a super exciting day. We're about to hit that halfway mark after today. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Group B and C are going to be bringing in here.
Yeah, in our current group stages right now, groups B and C are all about mid-pack, so I think this is going to be a very tight race, maybe going all the way to Game 7, but we got a lot of time to work through the hypotheticals of what could happen today. The big question I have is who steps up and wins today to try to catch a team at the top like Spacestation Gaming, who's perfect throughout the course of this competition. Folks, a lot to talk about, but like I said, this is Day 3, Week 2, so let's take a look back on what happened yesterday and what was a stunning finish on a perfect Spacestation Gaming.
The airdrop, Lauren, we do see some The champagne coming through here. The shots starting to fire across the way. Now Killzone.
Has the most damage in the entire group stage for a reason. He's got 1, he's got 2, and it's not. He gets all of them. He doesn't need any help.
But let's see whether or not BTH can piece this play together. Already 1.5 mil in assets that they've been able to secure so far. Ooh, but it does take quite a bit of a swing over to Liquid. Now it is Lord Jacob trying to push up the side.
That is maybe the most valuable incendiary I've ever seen. A free wipe, because that just full send. Here comes the Toxil to try to full send, but there's no way they're getting to the... Oh, they can just wipe them. Just kill them all, and maybe it pauses. You have 4 seconds. You got to full send it, and he's actually going to try to stick it. We're not looking. Kaw's going to let him steal it. Unbelievable. That should not have gone off with a single second left, and Hotstick's still alive. Mindo's still alive. BTH just faltering. They're falling. Ooh. Oh my goodness, Mindo with a snap across on a crazy angle. A pixel needed. Mindo could be the difference. Poppy back to full health. Let's see who gets the win. Nice pre-fire. Unfortunately, a hair too high this time. Not perfect aim, but close enough. That Poppy wants to get really aggressive over the top. Mindo 1v2. See ya later. Spacestation Gaming are about to close out this match right here, right now, because the only team contesting the brick is Liquids, and they're getting cut down. This is a free win. A couple free wins, and Spacestation Gaming find themselves at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the day because of their 2 mana bricks DK. But Team Liquid, at least just Team Liquid, put up a great fight against them. Other than that, it was all quiet for the rest of the 4 teams.
Yep, it was a pretty interesting night that we witnessed right there coming through from our squads. And I mean, we did see quite a bit of that heat, quite a bit of aggression coming through from the team sitting with 23 kill points to their name, right? Nightmare, BTH though yesterday, they said that I really do appreciate. And of course, as I was saying, they really need to try and lock in that strategic play to ensure that they can start climbing that board. But of course, we're not going to be bothered too much about these teams right from yesterday, as we are going to be looking on to today. It is going to be Group B, Group C for match number 6, day number 6. And there is going to be so much on the table here to see either making it over into the survival stage or all the way straight into the finals.
Yeah.
Currently, SSG, Team Liquid, looking pretty good for that.
Yeah, SSG is perfect throughout 3 matches. They've gotten first both times, or all 3 times, and gotten both mana bricks that they needed to win. So that is 30 total points. Team Liquid in a pretty solid spot. Team Nadeshot, after their first match win a while back, still in a decent spot. But I'm really paying attention today to LEVIATAN. On paper, currently the top team with Evil Geniuses right behind them. Seeds 4 and 5. Both those 2 teams are playing today, with WKF, who had a dominant performance in this match, kind of came out of nowhere because they were in last place before it, ended up winning, putting up 10 points. So LEVIATAN, Evil Geniuses, and WKF all playing today. This is what I was talking about the battle of the mid-pack, man. Look, it's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all in this match against each other. So there's going to be a lot of leaderboard shift at the end of today and at the end of week 2, where we find ourselves halfway ththrough the group stages, DK.
Yeah, and that's what the teams need to do. They need to bring in those shovels because they need to start digging and start building those ladders to get themselves further rankings. And I'm curious to see just how much of that aggression they're going to be looking to bring onto the forefront here, especially looking at MW, also sitting with only 2 points to their name. Today is a great opportunity for them to really look to double down on that. So, yeah, there's a lot to be looking forward to here in the action for the lineup.
Yeah. A lot that everybody's got to be watching out for. But folks, maybe you're tuning in for the very first time, let's roll the video about how this all works.
Delta Force. 1 game, 2 regions, 1 shot at glory. This is the complete guide to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Everything you need to know, from the very first match to the last squad standing. The path is the same in both regions. It starts with the open qualifiers, open to any team that wants to compete. The best push through to the group stage, where the top 2 advance directly to the finals, bottom 2 eliminated, and the rest battle through the survivor stage to earn their spot. From the open qualifiers, 12 teams have fought their way into the season, and only 1 will lift the trophy. The group stage runs for 4 weeks, with matches every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The 12 teams are split into 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. 3 teams per group. Each broadcast day, 2 groups go head-to-head in a cross-group match. Every match is a 7-round format. 6 teams competing in the same lobby simultaneously, across up to 7 rounds on maps like Zero Dam, Brakkesh, Tide Prison, and Space City. Teams earn squad points by scoring eliminations and accumulating in-game total assets. And on brick rounds, they compete to collect and decode Mandel bricks, artifacts that decide the round winner. Decode 2 Mandel bricks in a match and the victory is locked in, no matter what round you're on. After 12 match days, the group stage standings are final. Places 1 to 2 go straight to the finals. Places 3 to 8 enter Survivor Stage Day 1. Places 9 to 10 drop into Survivor Stage Day 2. Places 11 to 12 are eliminated. The Survivor Stage is where the bracket narrows fast. Day 1 brings those 6 teams together for one 7-round match. The top 2 advance directly to the finals. Places 3 to 6 get one more shot. Day 2 mixes the 4 survivors from Day 1 with the 2 teams ranked 9th and 10th from the group stage. Again, 6 teams, one 7-round match. Top 2 go to the finals. Everyone else is out. 6 teams, 1 day, 1 lobby, 1 match. This is the finals, the ultimate showdown of the season. 2 teams earned it through the group stage. 2 more survived Day 1. The last 2 came through Day 2. Every team deserves to be there. The top 3 finishers earn an invitation to Season 2. Welcome to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Loot, shoot, extract.
There you have it, folks. That is the Delta Force Rise series, but we've got to talk about the rules for today. Each of our players loading in with 1.5 million Technic Alloy, and if you die, you lose your gear, just like pubs. Even in our eSports system, it works just the way you play it at home in Extraction. Now, we are playing on Season Echo, which is 1 patch behind, so you will see more, so you will not see N2. And then we are playing for those mana bricks. This is the most important part of the rules that you've got to remember, is that, yes, we have a point system that we'll explain in a moment, but if you have a mana brick, that's the first win condition. That's how we sort the leaderboard first, and then it's points. So tied in mana bricks, then we go to points. But if a team captures 2 mana bricks at any point in this competition, of course, we are done right then, right there. The earliest you can do that, as you can see that in the bottom middle of your screen, is in rounds 2 and 4. Same team captures the brick in 2 and 4. Boom, we're done in 4 games. But otherwise, we go the distance until somebody clutches it up, or we go to game 7. You can see that we've got mana bricks to close out rounds 4 all the way to 7 and rounds 2, but 1 and 3 are our eco rounds. Final other rule on this page, at least, is that our operator selections, this is a big fun talking point about comp metas, and maybe you have your favorite operator out there, but every operator can only be used twice in total by an entire team throughout the first 6 rounds. On round 7, they all reset. Now, a couple other key notes. Yes, everybody will be running a 3x3 safe box. This is normal. You're going to get reds. You're going to put your ammo in there. Maybe even put dog tags in there, because that's how you earn a little bit of extra cash. However, the main way to earn cash besides just looting is a couple things down at the bottom. The main one, though, is eliminations. Every kill is 800,000 Technic Alloy straight to your stash, straight to your bank. A team wipe is 2.4 million, folks. This is a ton of value just by getting kills, let alone the points that those also give you. We'll talk about in a moment. Every round, you're still getting 700k just to make sure you're not totally broke. And if you decode mana bricks, you copy those bricks while your team's decoding, you're going to earn some extra resources as well. And if you don't extract multiple rounds in a row, you get a little extra cash. That's how the money system works, and that's how the players work. They want to keep their loot, but we got to talk mana bricks. Most important part, there's a lot of rules around them. The main ones, though, once the mana brick spawns, which is shortly after the match starts, 5 minutes. Once it's pulled from the spawn, there's a 5-minute timer, whether it's on the ground or in 16 different players' hands. That's not even the amount of players on the map, okay? If it changes hands a billion times, doesn't matter. 5 minutes until it goes back to spawn if it's not put into a decoding station. Once it's put into a decoding station, a 4-minute timer starts. Every time it's stolen, whether it's at 10 seconds or 3 minutes and 50 seconds when it's stolen, the max time will reset and go down by 30 seconds. Therefore, first steal puts us at 3.5, next steal puts us at 3, and so forth. And then once we get all the way down to the minimum time, which is 9 seconds, a minute and 30 seconds, it can't go any lower than that. Now, there is one way to pause the timer, which is by wiping the team that is decoding. We see that happen with 1 second left sometimes, because it takes 2.5 seconds to steal this brick. So if you wipe the team, it pauses. You can then go for the steal after that. There is a chance, by the way, that if the game clock goes below 90 seconds and it gets stolen, yes, that does mean no one will get the brick. That's how the mana bricks work, and they're very important to earn you points in our group stages. DK, I want you to talk to me about how it all works in our group stages, how the point system works, and how these teams are racking up these points to hopefully move on to the next round, because finals is coming up, survivor stages is coming up, and these teams are poised and ready to hopefully make it to that stage.
Well, the easiest, shortest explanation is a lot of running and gunning, right? That is the quickest way. But of course, the best way to ensure that you get to where you want to go is by placing at the top of the day, right? Landing yourself up in first place is going to award you those 8 points. But of course, for each and every single metal brick that gets decoded by your team, you get an additional point. So if you get the double brick today, you walk away with the 10 points. The same thing happens if you're in second place, you have 1 metal brick, you will get 7 points. So there's a good way to start racking up those points. But unfortunately, as we could see there, 6th place is not going to award you anything. But how do you ensure that you end up at the top of the day? Well, you utilize the living goodness out of the squad points. That comes from the 1 point per each kill that you get. That is going to stack up quite a bit. So if you take down a full team, that's 3 points on board. And for every 2 million in stash or assets that you have, that is going to award you an additional point, right? So if you pick up the tank that we've seen, for instance, being picked up, the beautiful red, that is going to give you 1 additional point, because that is 2.1 million right there. But if you combine that with a squad, which will award you 2.4 million, it is going to be a very, very happy day. And speaking about happy, the thing that's going to be bringing the most smiles to our participants here is, of course, the share of the prize pool they have. Right, first place was 60k, and then, of course, it whittles its way all the way down to that 11th to 12th place that is going to be worth 1 grand a piece. And, of course, the most exciting bit is the dynamic kill bonus that we have coming through there that is worth 50 bucks. So that means every kill they have, that is 50 additional bucks in the bag for them. And then, of course, MVP, the GOAT with the most, is going to be walking away with 3k on top of that. So every team gets something here. Everybody gets something added over to the overall kitty that they have. And of course, speaking about everybody, this is all the teams that we have participating. But today, we are only going to be looking into that central section, right? Group B, Group C. Those are our teams that are going to be wasting away on the battlefield.
Yeah, listen, I'm really excited to see Group B and Group C. I said this at the top of the show. This is our mid-pack teams. These are the teams that are going to really shake up this leaderboard. So that's today, July 19th. I can't even believe to say this, but we are going to be halfway done with our group stages at the end of day today. 2 more weeks of group stages, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, same time, same place for both regions. And then it's finals weekend. And finals weekend, you've got our survivor stages, match 1, match 2 on 2 separate days. That's Friday, Saturday. And then Sunday, grand finals, the final 6 teams. Still a long road to get there, but it's insane to say that we're about halfway. Now, we got to talk teams today. FaZe has been an up and down roster, and they still need to make some waves on our overall leaderboard. These guys have a crazy amount of hours in the game, but they are a bit inconsistent. When they're on, though, Sudoka, Snows, these guys put up crazy plays and crazy numbers, but when they're off, they're all but silent. It is quiet when they're missing their shots and not playing correctly. So I'm really excited to see what FaZe we get today and if they can find some consistency on the map. And as we look forward to another roster that also needs to step up in a big way, let's take a look at Evil Geniuses, right? This is a team mid-pack, DK, that you and I both love, but we had a chance to talk to the perfect Space Station, kills all the beast, top player on all of our stats, and he said the one player I fear most is Loco on this roster. You just saw him, but Muo, Articuno, these guys are pristine. And this was the one team that gave Space Station quite a bit of a run for their money in some of the engagements they had last week. So I'm excited to watch both of them. But talk to me about W Key Forever.
I mean, speaking about running, right? W Key Forever. These guys just blew themselves out of the water. I love what they brought to the battlefield earlier in this week. Just absolutely strong performance, and I really look forward to seeing what today is going to be holding for them. But they just got to keep it up, right? They just got to bring in that same aggression, that same love for the game, and that is going to have them sit very well on our overall rankings. But we have quite a bit of a lineup coming through from that Group B. But then we know they are contending against another group. That is going to be Group number C that we'll be taking a look at very soon. But yeah, a very tough lineup right there.
Yeah, Group B is a weird one because you've got one team really consistent in EG and the other two very up and down. But Leviathan has been at the top in just about every single game that they've played. They are slayers, ladies and gentlemen. These guys come out as hot as they did last time. You better watch out and duck for cover. Eclipse, Widows, these guys are putting up wild kills on the map against some of the top teams in the game as well. Socio had some of the top stats, but they haven't played yet, so they're lagging behind a little bit. After today, Socio Legend could retop some of the charts in terms of the slaying categories, trying to catch the beast that is Kills All from SSG. We turn our eyes, though, to a couple other rosters that desperately need some momentum. And these guys are a little bit late to the function often. MW, Mad Win, haven't been doing a lot of winning yet. Now, they do have a couple moments where you're like, okay, that was a great play or a great team wipe, but they just aren't bringing in mantle bricks and therefore not bringing in any solid placements. They find themselves near the bottom of our leaderboard in the group stages. FX, though, what you got for me? I think they're just past the halfway point on our group stages. I think ranked in 7th right now.
Yeah, they currently are set in that 7th place. I mean, Damiozo, from what we've seen, is an absolute beast stepping out onto the field here. Uhemura also bring in quite a bit of that aggression. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what their lineup will be today and, of course, how they are going to be looking to push through that. But all in all, right, with Marino on the squad there as well, they look like they are in the money for the action today. So super excited to see what they're all going to be bringing in. But, of course, looking at this group that we just witnessed, right, they are at least... There's quite a bit of aggression coming through on their side, right? And moving into our first round of the day, Zero Dam is going to be the perfect map to really capitalize on that aggression, right? Leviathan and, of course, then the players coming through from W, Key Forever. They can look to play with a very strategic approach coming in on the operator choices.
Yeah, quick look at all the operators that you can choose from. Of course, like we said, it's Season Echo, so you don't see N2, but you do find Morse there on the far right-hand side. Those green bars means how many times the players have chosen those operators. So if you see an operator grayed out, then they can't be selected until we get to round 7 if we get there. Let's talk Zero Dam, though. DK, you were hyping it up, and I'm pumped to see our first eco round. It's going to be D-Wolf, it's going to be Raptor, it's going to be Vlinder for most of our teams. We have seen a couple teams go double D-Wolf if they're trying to get really aggressive, but every team, I think it has a 100% pick rate if you think about the fact that you're only picking one per team. If we had that stat, I think Raptor would be 100% on Zero Dam. Every single team runs one Raptor on Zero Dam, namely because you get the most value from it on this map with the wide open spaces, and also some of the other maps you're just not finding quite as much value as some other operator choices. So Raptor, a strong choice at the very beginning of Zero Dam. My biggest question as we take a look at some of our players and see how locked in they truly are is what type of a Zero Dam are we going to get, DK? We've had a lot of back and forths on Zero Dam. Some really aggressive starts, tons of fights, everybody trying to get their money up by killing each other. And we've had some that are the slowest Zero Dam map I've ever seen. Slower than a lot of my pub games, okay? Because people like to fly in pubs. And here in the pro scene, if you die, you're losing your gear. That's bad news. So I don't know which version of Zero Dam we get today, but I'm looking at a team like Leviathan to step up and set the tone for how aggressive this game's gonna go. I think there's a pretty good chance they go down swinging immediately, whether it's kills and then they get wiped, doesn't matter. They want to put the fear in everybody else. Folks, we've got a giveaway on screen right now as per the usual. Redeemable code, type it in right now. There's a limited number of activations, so once they're gone, type it in. This code is limited to 35 redemptions, and this will get you the Nekomimi spray paint that we all love. It's been up here for a while, you know it, and it's your chance to get it. If you missed out the last couple times, it's because you're not typing fast enough. Quick tip: we're showing these just about every single time at the exact same time. So get ready as we're loading into games to see if our codes pop up, all right? But it's time to get into game. DK, take it away. Starting with Evil Geniuses down at the bottom of sub. And it looks like Leviathan and MW up at the tier 1 spawns at admin.
Ooh, that is going to be a really good start for both of them. But, of course, that is going to give them instant access up into admin. As you can see, both teams taking that full send, trying to get themselves situated, especially looking at MW. This could be the kind of start that they want to have coming into this. But, of course, it means that LEV and MW won't have that T1 spawn coming into round number 2, right, when we see Mandelbrick coming into the swing of it. So they're going to have to make up for everything here, right? They're going to have to try and get aggressive, make sure that they get decent amounts of profits here. so that they are set up as we go into those later few stages. But looking at the amount of profit, Mumu already starting to find a few of those reds, and then we have that nice mosaic lamp getting picked up as well. Not worth too much, but hey, it is going to help push the profits up.
Quick look at our operator choices. You can see it on the left and now down at the bottom. Everybody does have to use purple and blue, so you're going to see purple and blue across the board. Everybody running a Raptor as expected. And other than that, no huge surprises. We do see actually an Alluru already being brought out by both FaZe and FX and Evil Geniuses. So Alluru is a fairly valuable operator. Was maybe a little bit more value, actually a patch back before we got to Echo and Morse was introduced, because you can kind of use Alluru as a budget recon operator, using his rocket to get some intel in the skies. But either way you look at it, some fun conversations. A gold bar already found by our player on screen right here from MW, playing in admin. It was LEVIATAN that was able to take down Saeed already. Saw that pop up in the kill feed. So trading loot in admin, but no engagements yet.
Yeah, it's going to be slow, steady bit of basing here. We should see something coming up in admin pretty soon between LEVIATAN and, of course, MW. But in the meantime, it's going to be FX. They're having a nice little bit of a stroll here as they move through the camp down on that far southern side. They might have their eyes set over onto its major substation. So this could set them up for a little bit of a play here as they are just quickly trading out some of the stuff they have in their bags already. W keep forever, though. Going to be scouting out the position. They do find themselves all the way over in cement, so just seeing what Barracks could maybe be presenting to them. And unfortunately, here for Seabots, he's not really been able to identify anybody over in Barracks just yet.
Yeah, maybe spotted the FaZe folks at the very end of that drone, not sure. But yes, a little bit of a slower start, mostly because teams are just trying to feel out their spawns. Is anybody pushing towards us? One thing we didn't really mention, we've been mentioning it every show day, and I do want to acknowledge that Delta Force eSports here with the Delta Force Rise series is very new, so I will re-explain a few things. Airdrop round is our eco or economy round. There are airdrops that land with some nice loot, as we do see our first bloods beginning to exchange hands. A couple shots do land, not much to write home about yet. Classic admin standoff. The airdrop preparing, you see that top middle of your screen. It'll start falling in 4 seconds. That first airdrop is a key airdrop to fight for. It lands randomly on the map in a couple assigned locations. Could have the AWM or the ARM. It also could have the M82, so extremely high caliber weapons. And especially on a map like this where everybody's running purple armor, it's deadly. One-shot wonder, changes the game. The second airdrop, similarly, will have solid loot, but less valuable. Mechanically, golds, reds, all the like there. Need a little RNG on your side for that one.
Yeah, luckily at least playing on these on the esports server does mean that some of the loot is increased, right? So you have a lot higher probability of actually getting your hands on some decent red and some very worthwhile golds coming out there as well. So let's see what is going to be happening here between MW and LEVIATAN, as both find themselves a bit of a standoff here in the corridor. Nobody really looking to commit too hard just yet. But at some point, somebody has to do a little bit of something here. Buldora can't stay there forever, and especially not if they want to try and get that extraction secured. But I like what Loud is going to be doing. Just moving up, drawing a little bit of that focus as Eclipse is going to be focusing over towards him. But it's not going to be enough to create an opening for them just yet. We do have to be cautious, though, as you can see. Socio just getting very close to being poked out right there.
This is the main fight happening on screen. What you're not seeing right now is that airdrop. It is landing right now, and it's right on top of Evil Geniuses. Here's a look at it from the production side. Evil Geniuses have been camping this spawn. Once it appeared on the minimap, they got here immediately because it was closest to their spawn. But you do see that FX are moving this direction. They should be able to get this weapon quickly and then potentially engage FX if they'd like. And with a 338 Lapua ammo coming in, that is going to be the picked up by this roster. Watch out for Evil Geniuses on the map. They've got the firepower now to deal with their opposition. And I think they have an idea that FX is over here.
Yeah, this could give them a bit of an opportunity, a bit of an angle to play through FX, though. I like the send that they're giving, really trying to push up into the position. I like where Marino is angled as well. Just needs that extra little bit of line of sight here. You can already hear the Raptor scouts going out, looking to see if there's anything in the vicinity. But for the time being, nothing of value to FX just yet. All they got to do, though, is decide whether or not they want to try and venture forward or kind of just stay where they find themselves currently. And we do see the loot now continuing to just trickle on in. A minute and a half left on the clock until that second airdrop is going to be making its way on through. And EG, though, the only team currently sitting in over 2 million of profit, so they get their first point on the board. Ooh.
Yeah, in a really good spot with that. We're going to get some intel at the top. They spot all three, do quite a bit of damage as well. A ton of utility landing on the FX, now running away. Evil Genius is potentially trying to hunt down their prey, but we do know that D-Wolves, well, they can run quite quick. So FX are out of here. And I think Evil Geniuses are thinking this is not worth our time to try to chase them. We can either cut them off where we think they're going to be rotating to, or go play for a different engagement. We'll see.
Yeah, this is where a lot of that strategy is going to come through. Fortunately, though, for the team over on the west-hand side, they are called the Evil Geniuses. And there's good reason for that. We've seen that being pretty evident in the strategies in the past. But for the time being, up in the north, it is going to be Leviathan. And, of course, MW still in a very familiar position. No one really moving all too much. Both teams trying to find a bit of an opening. And what we've seen happen time and time again is if these teams extend the fights a little bit too long, they open up the angles for even more third parties to come through. But good openings play now coming through here from Rapid. But is he going to be able to follow through and get the hits?
Yeah, really wide angle there from MW to find Socio Legend first. That is the best case scenario, taking down their top Slayer immediately. Now in a 2v3, Leviathan trying to figure out, can we even stick this red since he's still on red? And take down the drone. But now that they've spotted where the body is, they're going to full chow this. They want to at least clean it up to secure the kill and make sure that the res isn't very easy. Maybe baiting out the res, being able to crawl around the corner. Eclipse is going to try to line him up and knock him down. Socio Legend does get cleaned up, and Eclipse is just a hair too far away. Not wanting to ego chow this, even with a pretty solid position. So a full 2v3. MW, this is a fight they should certainly win. It's just a matter of when do they decide to push it. Decent amount of util landing. No, gonna wait.
Interesting choice, though. I mean, it all comes down to timing, and it seems like Leviathan Widow's not committing to that timing just yet. But I like the pressure that MW is applying, just body blocking Socio there. So it is making Leviathan kind of make a few forced positions, or forced plays rather, as it's not a clear and easy accessible position for them to try and breach. But Pildora is going to try and play for the elevation. You can see Loud already doing exactly that. So whatever Leviathan decide to do from here, they have to be super committed to that play.
Quick grab of the loot off the bodies. In the meantime, we're paying attention to FaZe in the bottom right-hand corner, but Articuno is actually finding an angle on FX. That's what I thought was going to happen. Evil Geniuses were maybe trying to cut off the rotation of FX, and they've found one. So FX down to a duo, and that is an shot wasted. There's only 5, maybe not a waste if you're knocking somebody, but there's only 5 shots that you're given. Very valuable shots. So they need to make sure they get that cleanup off screen while we continue to watch this fight on screen. And we do see that that second airdrop has landed in the bottom right-hand corner that nobody's playing for yet.
Ooh, I like the usage of the utility here, right? Even though these teams aren't exactly in line of sight of each other, they can still manage to do quite a bit of a deterring play here, making the opposing side really kind of try and figure out what the angle is. It does seem like Eclipse might consider potentially maybe wrapping around to the main office on the opposing side, but it doesn't seem like he's fully committed to that angle just yet. Instead, tries to buy himself a little bit of time, trying to create that window. But with all the utility coming through from the side of MW, Leviathan might be running out of time.
Here comes the push. MW feeling like they've got a nice advantage, which they certainly do. Player advantage means they can full send and play for trades. Leviathan feel the pressure, and they back out pretty aggressively. One goes out the window over the lift, the other indoors. Able to re-meet back up. Doing a good job staying alive and just stalling this fight out. Leviathan's play right now is just hope that the other team makes a mistake. So far, MW playing pretty clean. Find their way to 1.7 mil as of current EG, the only team above them, only because of the but we got another fight on our hands. WKF, Crab, has found an angle on Tomiozo. Now, FX, yes, they got knocked by the from a while ago. They got that res, so that shot was fairly worthless. But now it's WKF that are looking for a bit of blood. FX have been in a blender this entire game, just every 2 seconds finding it themselves against a different team. and losing a player down to red. Nobody's got a yellow yet. Nobody's been fooled for FX, but this is going to be a tough res to grab unless Tomiozo can somehow crawl all the way around the corner. No chance. Going to go to yellow. Now we're in trouble, as off screen does look like FaZe have found an angle on Widows, as they seem to be third-partying outside of admin. Here's a look at him, DK. It's actually not even really a third party. It was Leviathan trying to rotate out. And that's one way to clean it up. Spray and pray through the smoke, find him. But Leviathan tried to rotate out of admin last we left off with him. And now we got another fight on our hand. WKF getting really aggressive on FX because they have the advantage. Crab has 2. Crab, top slayer for this roster when they got their win only a couple days ago.
Yep. I mean, they've already set up quite a bit of that foundational play here. So looking to see if they could maybe find the opportunity or the angle to capitalize on that right here today. We still see quite a bit of a pressure angle being held down on that far southern side, as it is going to be EG now looking to move in and get involved. Of course, they've moved all the way from Cement Plant. Come across the way. They did get that knock coming in their direction. So that is going to be just putting a slight bit of a halt to their initial aggression. But Marino, in the meantime, is going to be finding a few more of those reds. But up comes the push. The anger is there. The aggression. Can Articuno, though, survive the play? Crab just getting absolutely mowed down, but it gets the hit in.
What a wild trade, but it is Evil Geniuses that come in on top of that. A little bit of bait and switch, because Articuno was actually able to knock one, clean up the other, and gets cut down. And you're like, wait, is Evil Genius in trouble? No, there was only one player left for WKF, and they perfectly were able to trade it. Loco is full health, so is Muamuo. So overall, great job from Evil Geniuses. Clean up a full fight. WKF, the first team to hit the lobby screen. And Evil Geniuses still have probably 3 shots, I would say, of the potentially still 2. But those are valuable shots that they're using that they are finding some value with. Again, full team of 3. A full team wipe. That's 3 kill points on our leaderboard, which is great for tiebreakers compared to Mandelbricks. But it's also 2.4 million. Each shot is 100K. That's a solid trade.
Up comes Loco. Trying to find the ridge. A lot of jumping. Oh, not even getting hit by a single shot there, pretty much. As Marino is going to try everything in his bag of tricks to try and make it through this one. But it is going to be a pretty tough push going up against the full 3-piece here from Evil Geniuses, as they've been able to really climb their way back up. Marino might have his timer about to go on a bit of cooldown here, as you can see utility starting to run in. Oh, again, an absolutely insane molly being deployed. Unfortunately for EG, didn't do enough to Marino to take him out. But this does open up the angles now for Loco and the rest here of EG to come full send. And here they come, sending it up and going full metal, absolutely clapping it up.
Yeah, big kill there. That's going to be Evil Genius's 4th. They had gotten that knock on one of the members of FX earlier, but not gotten the cleanup. They had picked up the res and then lost in an engagement to WKF. So here's a look back on that replay. And Articuno's shot was unreal there. Snapping across, getting one, getting Crab extremely weak. And then the teammates were able to just clean up and play the trade here. So really well done, especially picking up that res on the backside of that engagement. That was sick. That was a nasty snap from Articuno. But another engagement here as Articuno lands another shot. The finding so much value as we swing into a big fight versus FaZe, who are in deep trouble because look who's joined the party. It's a solo from Leviathan, finding a full kill. FaZe in a blender with a full team of 3 ahead of them, and then the solo. And I would even venture to say, you see 2/3 of Evil Geniuses went down. Eclipse saved the day for EG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, they owe a lot to what Eclipse just brought in here. Oh, but Eclipse getting eclipsed by the jump there from Sidoka. Just wrapping it up, and FaZe now have the opportunity to bring themselves back up to a 3-piece. Now, while the fights were happening, of course, we did see one team getting the opportunity to get themselves extracted. That was, of course, MW there, making it out with 2.1 mil in the bag. But we still have 2 teams here left to duke it out. It is going to be the Evil Geniuses up against the solo coming through from FaZe.
Evil Genius is having a banger map, and they're going to actually go ahead and grab this second airdrop that's been out here for a while. They feel like they know that FaZe took quite a bit of beatings in that engagement as well. Heard some shots from another team here, and they're just going to want to back up. They've already found a ton of value on the map. Loot up here, potentially leave. You could go bagless. You could go weight restricted. There's a couple different options for them. No elevator this time around, and Sudoka probably just needs to stay on the map and play for a kill here. If he can just steal 1 kill away, it'd be good for his overall team, but maybe he could stack up the safe box with teammates' gear. I don't know what the most valuable play would be, but I'd be probably trying to sneak a kill.
You're going to have to, right? I mean, that's pretty much a reliable source of points that you have at this stage. As you've said, there's not going to be an opportunity for that extraction to come through as we are very, very low on time. But looking at EG, they might try and get somebody out through that far southern extract, right? The paid extract.
Yeah.
Let's see if anything is going to happen there. And it does seem like Articuno might be the one to go for it. Of course, we know he's got the AWAM in his pocket. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's not a pocket AWAM, though. Right, we do have a few of those in game, but it's not being used right here. Loco, though, testing out the waters, trying to put up a good defensive angle, and we might even see Sudoka being able to bring at least one of his teammates back into the fight.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have time for the fight. So Articuno is going to try to get some intel over the top with Raptor before he leaves the map, and we'll see at least the boxes as Momo and Loco go flying forward to try to go get a couple extra kills. But Articuno leaving is a good thing. Yes, protecting the that he has in pocket, but also I want to say he only has 1 shot left, if any. So nice find from Sudoka. This is what I'm talking about. Was able to have time for, yes, the fight and also the res. And maybe a little too aggressive from our evil geniuses as Muo goes down and FaZe find themselves another point.
Well, let's see whether or not Loco can maybe still get an additional few points on the board, as it is going to be a pretty tough play, though. Ooh, nice. Gets the one, gets the takedown, no. And the clock is punched out.
He needed like 1 or 2 more bullets in his magazine to get the full. Yes, a knock on FaZe there is nice, but it does nothing for your points. Needed to get the full kill and just barely ran out of ammo and couldn't reload in time to get the finish. Bummer there for evil geniuses, but a nice little finish there from FaZe. Still, EG definitely the biggest winners on the map. You saw MW get a full extraction, which is nice. They protect quite a bit of loot, but in general, I think the biggest frustrations are looking back on some of these other rosters. WKF that had a decent team fight and then got wiped by this roster right here. They pick up 6 kills, 6 kill points, 4.8 mil in total from the kills, plus the 3.9 that they pick up in safe boxes and Articuno extracting. This is a banger game for Evil Geniuses, coming out on top very quickly early in this match.
Yeah, I mean, especially walking away with those 6 kills, that is going to boast quite well for them. FaZe, of course, also picking up 3. WKey picking up some points as well as MW full extraction. So that is going to be putting at least 2 points on the board for them, right? 1 thanks to the value, the other one thanks to the kill coming through from Loud. So things are looking pretty decent with the start to the action. But of course, taking a look at the bigger scheme of things, our top killer is going to be none other than Loco, the player that Gilzal said is the only one that he is weary of. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what Loco is going to be bringing in, and maybe Loco could look to spice things up a little bit. Of course, Loco sitting right at the top of the board here for the top damage dealers, followed in very then by Crab as well as Mr. Diogod.
Yeah, I mean, Loco has been one of the top performers. Anytime he finds himself on the map, he has multiple 1v multiple situations, but Mumu is also one of the straightest shooters in the game and can be feared by many as well. So be interesting to see what Evil Geniuses are going to be able to do if they can keep up this momentum going into a mana brick round. Are they going to play as aggressive as they did this time, or are they going to kind of let the fights come to them and play for the brick? Articuno does pick up the most assets, likely on the back of the as well as being able to extract, but MW still found a decent bit of value. Pildora 1.3 in total. Reminder, all 3 members of MW technically got out of the map, but Loco finds themselves as our round 1 MVP. 3 kills, 2 assists, 500,000 assets in the safe box, and of course solid damage. So great job there from Evil Geniuses and Loco to kick things off with a bang here in Zero Dam. Not as slow as some of the other maps. I like it. We're starting out pretty aggressive for some of our rosters.
Yeah, and that's exactly what these teams need to bring in. You pointed out they're sitting in that middle board, so the only way to get out of that is to go out and get heavy with the points. But of course, that was only the first round. There's still quite a few more to go, and as you saw right down there below as well, be sure to go and follow us on all the social medias if you've not done so. And if you've also not yet downloaded the game, do it. It's free, right? It's available everywhere. Go have some fun, get addicted to it like we see our players here, and yeah, a lot to look forward to.
That's exactly right. That was game one. Going to game two next. Going to be our first Mantle Brick round. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to take a very short break here in the booth. When we come back, will it be Evil Geniuses on top after game two? Wait and see.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat! This... And LG's gotta know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're a nut! For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off that.
Got the Mantle Bricks. Find and stop them. Mantle Bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, I'm not going to do very much, though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back. Delta Force Rise Series, Day 3, Week 2. America's region. Groups B and C started off with Evil Geniuses at the top after our zero damn map. 10 total squad points, 5 kill points, 5 supply points. FaZe Clan not too far behind them with a total of 6. Then everybody else kind of falls in line after that. Starting out with double digits to kick things off in round 1. Evil Geniuses got to be feeling good here, DK.
Yep, they're sitting quite pretty there with the double digits next to the name. But of course, as we know, it's all going to boil down to whether or not they can keep that consistency going. That is going to be the key factor that I will at least be keeping my eyes on here today, because we know they are in some pretty tough company here, and it's not going to be an easy feat, especially stepping out onto round number 2, which is going to be taking us straight over onto Brakkesh. And this is where things get interesting, because we've seen some round 2s where the Mantle Brick is there every time, but it never gets decoded, and other times where it gets decoded every single opportunity. But of course, the airdrops get left behind, so let's see who can get their hands on it, and we might see an interesting choice yet again coming through with the operator picks.
Yeah, when we talk about Brakkesh, you can see that every operator is still available. Nobody elected to double down on a single operator. Want to keep their options open. And when we move into Brakkesh, sometimes you will see a team go ahead and say, hey, we really want to try to get this mana break first. We may throw a Tempest in. It doesn't happen very often. These are the operators you usually see. You're seeing a lot of Allurus. You're seeing a lot of Gizmos. You're seeing a lot of Morse. Basically, you're looking for operators that can zone off an area. Namely, because take a look at the map. That Royal Museum, dead center of the map, that's where you're going to see a majority of our action. That's where the mana brick spawns. It's also where the most popular decoding station is, within maybe like 80 meters from the spawn, maybe actually less than that. It is just inside. That's the one that a lot of teams like to go for if they can. These T1 spawns, tier 1 spawns, are going to be very valuable on this map because of how close to the spawn they are, yes, of the mana brick, but also how close they are to the decoding station that a lot of people like. So watch out for what could be everybody besides MW or Leviathan on those T1 spawns. And so the big question remains, as always, is if you spawn in the new Tower of Babel, are you playing for loot and showing up to the function late, or are you going straight at Museum, coming in from the south, trying to catch some teams by surprise with how fast you're moving across the map? Those are the fun quandaries I have moving to Brakkesh. But like DK said, there's a lot going on this map. We got mana bricks. We got airdrops as well now. We got the boss flying around in a helicopter that you can shoot and try to get some lucky wooden sculptures to get your goals faster. There's a lot going on, DK.
I mean, we've even seen players being taken out by bosses, right? And that's always a nice little bit of a twist coming through as well. But yeah, it's all going to be down to what they are going to be bringing in onto this Brakkesh, and we'll find out soon who will be getting their hands on those T1 spawns, right? Is there going to be a relentless engagement coming through on the Royal Museum for possession of that mana brick and the decoding, or could we maybe see the teams take the action somewhere else? Of course, only time will tell, but we don't have to wait that much longer as we are getting ready to hop straight into the action.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, and as we're loading into round 2, I do want to remind you that you got to keep your typing fingers ready, all right? We got another giveaway coming right at you here in just a second. Watch your screen. It's going to pop up in 3, 2, 1. I'm close. There it is. Boom. Redeemable code. Type it in right now to unlock the SR3M Combat Ready skin. It's on your screen. You got to type in that code verbatim, all right? I'm talking caps and everything. Redeem in-game or on the official website. It's the first 25 people to redeem it across all of our live streaming platforms. So you got to be real fast. And we got more coming your way a little bit later. But it's time for Brakkesh, and it's time for our first mana brick round. Let's see who gets it first.
Yeah, it's a 1v thousands of people watching this. So there is some pretty slim pickings, and it really boils down to fastest fingers first. And speaking about fingers being fast, we do see some people running real fast, right? As they are going to be looking to get themselves into position. It does seem like we've got FX and WKey Forever getting themselves into those T1 spawns. So an interesting start for them. But of course, as you can already hear, Anthe, ooh, we got our first takedown.
Alrighty. FX already losing one. Did Marino break his legs? What just happened there? It didn't even show that somebody else got the kills. That's crazy. FX are in a blender right now. WKey Forever are WKeying at their opponents, and FX are down to a solo, and he's on 1 HP and a drink. They're gone. Yep. Blink and you missed it, folks. The game clock is 18 minutes, and we barely got into the 16s. That was 1 minute and 10 seconds, and FX is off the map. What a wild start to what would have been a very nice position for both FX and WKey Forever. And now it's just WKF in mid-map at Museum playing for Brick. Now you do see MW aggressively rotating this direction. FaZe aggressively rotating this direction. Nobody giving away bricks for free in this lobby, at least, as opposed to what we saw yesterday. So let's see the action.
I think FX need to make a ticket with housekeeping, because I don't think those floors were properly dried by the time that they got there, right? Mopping just happened. We did see quite a bit of slipping and sliding coming through. But hey, you know what? WKey Forever, they're going to be quite happy about that, as it does open up the opportunities for even more teams now to come and explore. As you can see, FaZe pushing up from the side. Meanwhile, MW and Leviathan finding themselves at the decoding station. It's not even been picked up yet, and both these squads are getting ready for what could be coming.
This angle that Pildora is holding, not sure if I missed it. This angle he was holding doesn't really denote to me that he knows exactly where Leviathan is. Does seem to have a read that potentially Evil Geniuses could be behind them, or at least a team is behind them. They're just kind of just roaming around. I don't think they know Leviathan is there. I mean, they were just inside, and the way he was centering, he was on the back wall, not the close one. So I have a feeling there's going to be a breakout fight, and there it goes. Widows is finding it off screen, while on screen, WKF is going for the brick. Here's the fight. Leviathan, they lose 1, but MW lose 2. A big engagement at the behest of a couple different rosters, but Leviathan coming out currently in the lead in player advantage, and now they're going to try to chase down Rapids and clean up another team. One roster full wiped, another in trouble. So Rapids goes hightailing back to Museum. And WK Forever says, sounds good to me. You guys are fighting off brick. We're going to grab it. We're going to plant it in Museum. We've already got power position. Come and get it.
Yeah, I mean, Rapids ran all the way up to the hotel, right? So he really legged it, making sure to get the heck out of Dodge. But especially now with the Museum decode coming through here, this opens up the angle for, I would even say, the Evil Geniuses maybe to come and creep their way on forward, because WK Forever all the way up onto the north, and in case you missed it, yeah, that is how Marino got taken on out. He got shot first.
Yeah, he just got put to 1 HP as he was kind of jumping, so I don't blame him too much, but breaking your legs there is interesting because it actually doesn't yield anybody the kill in this game. So you saw it come through that he died to fall damage, and therefore nobody got that kill point in that WKF fight. So I think they only have 2 kill points. I'll get 100% confirmation of that here in a little bit if we check out their feeds. But for now, we pay attention to what Leviathan's been able to do in the position that they have on the map. They're scouting around, seeing if this MW player Rapids, did he truly abdicate, or is he still in the area? No, he's gone. Okay. So now what? What's the play? IGL making the call right now. Maybe we go play for brick. I hope that's what they're saying, as we see Evil Geniuses doing just that.
Yep, it does seem like that is exactly what Leviathan is going to be doing, as they are hightailing it back over towards Museum. Meanwhile, Rapid made it all the way up to that far northern position, almost at the extraction. But now it's going to be the point where things really start to heat up. Of course, Peiki experiencing that firsthand, as he has been caught out in the molly here. But the pressure is going to be on. Right, Evil Genius is moving in. We've got Leviathan moving up. FaZe getting caught out there at the market, just trying to figure out what is going to be the angle for them to try and maybe squeeze it. We're here as there's only one place to really focus all your efforts on. That's right here in Museum.
2 minutes elapsed, 2 minutes on the clock right now for the first decode. The next steal puts us at 3.5. Plenty of game clock to play, so don't worry about that. Just worry about the brick. Evil Genius is down low, going to go up the stairs, feeling like they have a little bit more presence or space than they maybe thought they did. WK Forever is hiding, and now's the angle. Maybe not as much space as they let on. WK Forever find a nice angle, or at least it looked like it. They lose one. Articuno finding Crab. Crab going down, their top slayer. WK Forever in a bit of a blender right now as Evil Geniuses are putting the pressure on. Utility, holding angles. Peek and you die is what they're trying to tell WK Forever as they slowly push their way forward towards the brick. Gonna make sure this one's not free.
Well, Articuno with a strong position there is going to look to be in a position we can really lock that one down. Loco trying to come in with a cheeky steal here. Gets it off the edge. Gets spotted out, and now it's going to be WK Forever trying to figure out what the heck just happened. They did see the player, but it was a little bit too late. Leviathan also going to be gaining entry up into Museum, and this is where the pressure is going to be on, right? WKF could really look to turn on the aggression, as there is an opportunity to catch EG in a bit of a pincer here.
I think Evil Geniuses are making the right play. They need a full send WK Forever to get this outside position. If they stayed inside there, they could get shot in the back so easily. They didn't know exactly where Leviathan was at, but they knew they were close. And now Leviathan's very close. Eclipse getting aggressive, trying to play for a true third-party fight, which I quite respect from these guys. They've been an aggressive team in the past in their other matches. This is what I was expecting to see from them in some of the first games, second games, etc. Loco immediately lining one up and knocking it down. Down goes C-Bots. Now we've got WKF down to a solo, while Leviathan, amidst the chaos, says we might as well steal the brick. Give ourselves a small advantage, as Evil Genius is now taking the fire of 2 different teams, with Pecky, namely, trying to keep them at bay so he can stay alive for his team.
Yep, it's going to be quite important here for Pecky to try and survive, but unfortunately, yeah, it wasn't in the cards. Down he goes, and out is WKF. I think that was a self-nade, yeah.
Yeah, that rocket did not quite get past the pillar. WKF, not quite as dominant as they were in the last match earlier this weekend, but they've got plenty of time to rally. 2 teams full wipe, 4 teams left, but MW down to a solo. This is going to be a big fight between Leviathan and Evil Geniuses. FaZe are slowly creeping their way towards from market into the bottom of the museum as well. Could play for third party. As per the usual, museum, always a bang out. A lot of trades back and forth, while MW, in the meantime, have found their way over. Rapid's finding Lapua ammo. Rapid's finding the airdrop and getting the while everybody else is fighting. I mean, hey, listen, when you're a solo, there's only a couple things you can do that are valuable, which is sneak kills or find crazy loot. And he's finding the crazy loot.
Yeah, that is going to help them and definitely make them feel a lot more confident moving into those later few stages. But of course, the most important thing is you got to survive, right? You got to have to make it out in one piece to have that actually count for anything at this point. But for now, though, back into museum is where Leviathan are going to be moving, right? They do currently still have possession of the brick. They are sitting with a decent chunk of change in their pockets, but they're going to have to contest against the aggression coming through from the Evil Geniuses as they want to try and regain quite a bit of that territory. They have easy possession up onto the decoding station, but it's going to be up to what Leviathan will be bringing forward here. They still have that full 3-piece up, so quite a bit of defensive plays could still be made by them.
Articuno gonna invest the drones, try to get some intel on the rotations of some of the teams. Finds one member of Leviathan. Didn't see more than that, so wondering, are they all grouped together? Is there somebody on the flank? Do they know Eclipsed is on this angle? They should. Threw some shots earlier, and with that utility landing, the smoke landing in this direction, yes, now definitely know it. Gizmo giving us some extra info, zoning them off as Evil Geniuses say, hey, stay over there, catch this net, we're gonna steal the brick back. And it looks like Mua may even just stick around the decoding station, be able to play for their fight. But here's another angle. Socio Legend, Leviathan finding FaZe in the crosshairs, folks. We've got a 3-team battle. And so far, everybody's shooting each other, but nobody's fallen.
Yep, a lot of trading happening across the way. Let's see whether or not Elsnows can get anything done. Seems to be pretty well set up for the altercation here, but it is going to be FaZe coming through with that very southern positioning, right? Coming up the staircase. It could maybe help them push in and apply a little bit of that pressure, but looking at how the angles are currently just locked down here by both the Evil Geniuses and Leviathan, it's not going to be an easy entry for them to make. And Articuno, of course, is going to be scanning the area, making sure that he disrupts every possible bit of contention.
Yeah, nice pickup yet again with the drone. Very valuable in Brakkesh as well. Just finding intel, being able to call out to your team, hey, one's near the brick, one's going for the push. And Leviathan was maybe going to go for the steal there with the drone right on his back. Touching quite a bit of flak. He wasn't able to go for it. Evil Genius is still in control. 80 seconds on the clock. Plenty of game time. Leviathan looking for an angle. Been playing around this backside position for a while now. While MW solo just loots off screen. The fight has to stay here. There's nowhere else to go. 60 seconds. Socio Legend doing a lot of the same. Using that drone to get intel. Double checking. Are Evil Geniuses all together? Is somebody split? Flies over one. Sees the other two. Okay. We've got the intel there. What about FaZe? We saw them a little bit on the low side. Underneath. What if we swing on Evil Geniuses? What if we try to make an aggressive play rather than wait on them to make a mistake? They're in the power position. 40 seconds. No Tempest on the map. You're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Smoke and run.
Well, here they come, looking to get the momentum built up. FaZe really close to that decoding station. It's all going to boil down to whether or not EG can lock this one in. Just a few seconds remain on the clock here. But FaZe seem committed to contest as they are just trying to get closer and closer.
You better go.
Of course, EG, they could miss the opportunity here as Eclipse steps up, but he gets netted. That might not be enough to stop him, though.
That's a great net from Gizmo. So valuable in this position. Evil Genius is able to hold it on the back of Gizmo. No, Leviathan still get it. Just over the top. Widows is able to find Diogod, and Socio goes down to Loco. But just over the top, the same play Evil Genius has made about 6 or 7 minutes ago. Leviathan able to answer back and restart this steal. It's a 2-minute clock, so one more steal puts us to our minimum timer. It'll be 90 on out every time the brick is stolen. The good news for Evil Geniuses is that FaZe is down to a duo, and so is Leviathan. And the third that is down for Leviathan is out with Mua. It's out with Evil Geniuses. They have the body with them. Leviatan's not going to get their third up unless they wipe Evil Geniuses.
Yep, so good strategic position going through here from them. And I mean, you got to say, Evil Geniuses, they are in a really strong position. And I think the point that really helps them out of here is the fact that Leviatan and FaZe are also still finding themselves in a bit of an altercation with each other. As you can see, Clips quickly having now to retreat full back. Widow's still going to be holding a tight position here, but this opens up that position now for the Evil Geniuses to try and advance, move forward, reclaim that mantle break, and that is exactly what Articuno is looking to do now.
Yeah, it was free. Leviatan elected to go low and try to flank on Evil Geniuses because they didn't think that they could play him kind of front to back on the other side of the top, second floor rather, of Museum. They're going to try to sneak up here, maybe land some util and push this fight. I don't know how much value they're going to get out of this necessarily, but they're going to smoke the body potentially and make a big play up the forklift, or scissor lift rather. Let's see. Toxic ult.
Ooh.
It'll land, but util, I mean, they know he's here. I mean, I don't know if I love this play unless your teammate can help you out, and I think he's thinking better of it, or at least maybe trying to bait it out by playing ledge. 50 seconds on the clock. Evil Geniuses do have to watch the brick. They'll eventually turn their attention back to FaZe if FaZe make a push, and when they do, Eclipse is there to strike.
I think this is where Leviathan also need to watch out for what NW could be bringing in, right? Because sitting up on that ledge does open you up quite a bit. So Rapid could still have quite a bit of a say in what happens here today, as we do see him now starting to move up, looking at the map there. But in the meantime, it is going to be pretty focused attention here. Beautiful hit from Rapid, and that is exactly the play that I said Leviathan needs to be careful of, because Rapid is still in this round.
Oh my goodness. Rapid just hit a two-piece. One on Leviathan, one on Evil Geniuses. And you called that perfectly. Saw him wrapping around. He had picked up the in the meantime, and he certainly has a say. Unfortunately, his say is that Evil Geniuses are going to get the brick. Amidst all the chaos, Leviathan thought they were going to make a heroic push through Evil Geniuses and pause by wiping them, but instead gets sniped in the back. MW hand the brick to Evil Geniuses, but take a couple kills to boot. A great job, MW, getting anything from that map, but Evil Geniuses, top of the leaderboard after 1. Now certainly top of the leaderboard after 2.
Yeah, we've seen this kind of pacing come through from them before in one of the prior days of play, where they had a phenomenal run. But, of course, they were going up against the side of Spacestation Gaming. Fortunately for them today, there is none of that happening. So this could be the start of something great here for the side of Evil Geniuses. Meanwhile, they still have to deal with FaZe and Leviathan as, well, the pressure has not gone away. It is still pretty evident as the teams are committed to following through with at least something here. And meanwhile, MW might now look to get Rapid actually out of this round.
Yeah, I mean, if Rapids can get out, he has done his job and then some. It's very difficult to play this game as a solo. El Snows, it's a full team of 3, is trying to play frontman here and maybe grab a knock. Not feeling like he has an advantage in that fight. He's going to back off and rejoin his team, making sure they don't get flanked by this wrap that Evil Geniuses and Articuno are making. We still have Widows down below for Leviathan. But everybody's playing for kills right now. Their kits are still not insanely expensive. There's a quick look at Rapids, giving us an 07. Salute. Get out of here, my friend. Well earned. The only player to extract today, most likely in Brakkesh. The rest of the players staying to fight. These kill points are everything. This is our tiebreaker if your mana bricks are tied. Because kill points and supply points added together as your total squad points. That's what the points are on the leaderboard. Super important. Team's going to stay for the fight.
And what a fight it will be, but it might be a very short one
nice
here
flank.
for EG. As they are now down to Articuno. Oh, he's literally on 1 HP. He gets clapped, picked up, and out he goes. FaZe, though, managing to wrap that one up quick and fast, but it's not over until Widow says so.
That is a hilarious sequence. A great flank by FaZe. I want to say that was Dio God that made the flank around the outside, and Evil Geniuses just got stuck between that pinch that this team from FaZe actually put up. The problem with it was once Dio God went down, he'd already been to yellow timer, so he gets full. That's going to be another kill for Evil Geniuses. And Articuno almost pulls out the impossible. If he had a little bit more ammo in the tank, he could have pulled out a 1v3 there, or what it feels like a 1v3 as his teammates went down. But you're right, Leviathan stayed patient, picked up an extra kill. That was a lot of points between a couple different teams. Evil Geniuses get the brick, and that's the most important part.
But I think, especially looking at the play that Rapids made, coming through with that AWAM, just being an absolute menace from the outside, that is exactly the kind of position that I'm pretty convinced that Leviathan was not bargaining on. So big play coming through there from the side of MW, definitely finding quite a bit of value here. But as we know, there's only so much value that you can cram into your little bag, right? That 3x3. MW, though, they were able to get out with 1.9 mil, taking some value out, but not managing to get a point for the profits they were able to accrue in this round.
Yeah, this is a very interesting leaderboard we're going to see here in just a moment. Mr. GeoGod, looking great as always, is doing a great job of finding kills along the way. Nice flanks from him to pick up a couple extra kills for his team. FaZe having a decent rep that time around, but Evil Genius is the big winners. W Key forever, man. Ups and downs of that roster. Their first match, brutal. Second match, unreal. They go huge and win it all. Third match, which is today, they've really had nothing going for them. It's a really tough fight, but Evil Geniuses, like I said, another banger map from them. Disregard the assets gained because, yes, they all got wiped, but they get the Mandel Brick. You can see it there in the bottom right, and then 6 kill points is huge for their total. They already had 10 total squad points, so they're going to get 6 kill points here. That'll put them to 16. Plus, those are 800K apiece, folks. That's 4.8 mil. That's another 2 points in the supply point category. So a great job from Evil Geniuses to find the most points on the map and the Mandel Brick. They're well above the rest at this point.
Yep, that is going to bode exceptionally well for them here. But of course, looking at the points across the board, a lot of teams managing to bag those kills, right? W Key forever. We just see FaZe Clan as well as Leviathan all sitting with 3 apiece. And of course, it all boils down to this. Loco and Articuno helping carry their team forward here with coming in with kills apiece. Of course, Widows with a strong contribution there for Leviathan. Yep, I would say a very, very satisfying Brakkesh that we've had, right? I mean, we've seen Brakkesh go in a whole bunch of different directions, and I definitely like where this one went. This we now take a look over on the top damage dealers, and it's still very, very consistent.
Yeah, big shout to Widows again from Leviathan, finding those scrap kills at the very end, but also some really interesting team fights. I actually liked what Leviathan did at the end when they had a duo wrapping around the outside. They just got killed by the man, the myth, the legend from the MW Rapids with the So Crab still top assist for WKF, even though they had a tough engagement. Still found some decent damage and assists across the board, a couple kills, but it was Rapids finding his way to 2 million total assets because he was the only player to extract. His team got wiped. He bailed. He got the got 2 kills with it, and then left the lobby. Hey, man, I'll take it as a solo, but Articuno is going to be our match MVP. Picks up the brick, yes, with the team, but 3 kills, nearly 700 damage, and an assist. Certainly well earned from these guys. This is a very strong roster, and they've got a very strong start to their 3rd match overall in the group stages. Man, DK, that was a fun one. Like you said, listen, Brakkesh goes a couple different ways. This one still stayed aggressive, which I really like to see.
Aggression is key at the end of the day, right? The team score points because they get the kills. We see Mandelbricks getting decoded and quite a bit of fighting happening around that. But unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing that in our next round, though.
Oh, we're not. We may see some fights. It's going to be sneaky fights, though. We're going to Tide Prison, all right? Let's see how aggressive these teams get. It'll be our next and last eco round. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to head to a very short break. When we come back, let's see who gets the next high-caliber weapon or maybe the most kills.
2 members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and NT getting a little... So, hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat!
The last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off that.
Stop them. Vandal break decoded. Nice work, operator. The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator. Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first hit to break up the tournament. They're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
So much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back. Delta Force Rise Series Day 3, Week 2 here in Americas, and Groups B and C have been pretty aggressive to kick things off as we finish up. Brakkesh and Evil Geniuses find their way to the top of the leaderboard yet again with the first Mandel break. W Key Forever do pick up 5 total kill points from some of their engagements with FX off rip and a couple others to boot, but they do get wiped. They still find their way to 9 points, which isn't too bad in total. But DK, a 7-point lead is nice in the squad points category if it does come down to tiebreakers. But getting that first Mandel break is going to give Evil Geniuses a ton of confidence in the future rounds.
Yeah, I mean, confidence is great to have, but of course you got to keep your about you, right? And we've seen different strategies being deployed by teams that get that first Mandel break. So we'll see a little bit later on in the day how that pans out for them. But as we saw there, right, it's going to be first things first. We're heading into prison, and this is where we could see those double Nox loadouts making their way on forward.
Yeah, double Nox is a classic. We'll certainly see at least one Nox per team. You see that W Key Forever had already used the Nox on Zero Dam, but this is kind of the most popular comp, if you will. Shepard, Nox, Morse. You see all 3 of these operators quite aggressively in Tide Prison for several reasons. One, Morse is just so nice to pick up some intel, especially for teams that are trying to creep around the map. And then Nox, we all know, when his footsteps go silent, crazy things can happen. So that'll happen a ton. And then Shepard has a ton of value just in zoning off positions on the map. Tide Prison is one of those where everything is so small and so chaotic. There's verticality to it, and there's these tight corridors. It's a lot of CQB that when you have engineers like Shepard holding down with Sonic Trap, ult, or whatever you need, it's going to be very difficult to actually take a push into a room with a team that has a Shepard. So keep that in mind as we take a look at our operator choices. There should be some other operators that popped up, but Tide Prison is our second eco round. And DK, what that means for our viewers is, yes, we talk about spawns and T1 spawns being the most valuable, but on Tide Prison, if you get the T1 spawn, it's kind of like a dang it, because that means you will not have the tier 1 spawn going into Space City. It's the only rule with our spawn, so nobody can fully predict who is where. You just can't be T1 back to back.
Yeah, so it's going to be unfortunate for 2 potential teams, and we'll find out exactly who they are. But it is go time as we are going to be getting ourselves into the whole situation here. It's going to be a lot of that looting and scooting before we can see a lot of the shooting going through. The teams now have the opportunity, that final opportunity to build up the economy. Once we get into Space City, that is where it all then comes to play. But for now, yeah, it is going to be go, go, go. I want to see one thing though. Evil Geniuses may be staying away from zip lines.
Zip lines can be deadly if you're not paying attention. That's definitely the case. Let's get into round 3, folks. Now, a couple things about Tide Prison. Yes, it may play very slow. Yes, the rats will be in. No question about that. There's also a couple different mechanics here with Tide Prison. The first being that the way you get the or the M82, it is random, is by paying attention of that GTI supply mission. Okay, so you see that mission, it's down bottom center of the map near Warden's office. That GTI supply mission will pop and be available here in about 4.5 minutes. If you do that mission, that's how you're granted the high caliber weapons. So watch out for that. There is still a second airdrop that has some decent loot, but in terms of the RNG we're finding in those these days, not worth a crazy amount. What is worth a crazy amount? Marino, 1.5 mil, finding it finally here on Tide Prison.
I mean, that is a phenomenal find to see come through already. We've seen now 4 reds being picked up right in the first few moments of this round. So absolutely love where this is going. Let's see whether or not Tamiozo is going to be surprising us with a few additional reds here. Ooh, there we go. I found one of those as well. Yeah, it's a pretty decent play for the side of FX as they are finding a lot of loot all over the place. But now the big question is who's going to be utilizing the most out of their operators here? Because look at Leviathan. They're the only team that opted to not go for that knock pick.
Yeah, that is surprising. There's hardly been a map as MW also finds 1.3 mil there off screen. This is maybe one of the first times we see a team not run that Nox. I don't know if they have a plan for him or just don't like him or prefer the comp that they're running right now, but be interesting to see how that pays off to be running Gizmo in the mix there with Shepard and Morse. But interesting stuff. Evil Genius is taking the zip line, not heeding DK's words and not getting punished for it yet, which is nice. They're going to rotate all the way around to the other side of the map and come through southeastern side into the main building potentially, or actually maybe go up to the ridge. But more reds being found. Again, this is eco round, economy round. Goal is to get your money up. I will say it again, though. I know these reds are nice and beautiful and pretty, and they certainly do help because supply points are great as Rapids finds some more alligator head off screen. 0.5 mil. Kills, every kill. 800K. So best way to get your money up is wipe some other teams in the lobby, man. I want to see some action.
Yes, sir. But yeah, of course, for the zips, it's only the vertical zips, right? The horizontal zips, they're fine, right? And of course, the one in particular I'm referring to is the one where we see FX right now, right? That big old zip going up and down, where we saw the crazy fight happening in the tunnel. Yeah, I'm curious to see if anybody is going to maybe get themselves caught in that same kind of setup here today. But for the time being, though, it is looking pretty good as Leviathan Widows is going to be finding our second pocket watch. Ooh, there comes the Rolexes as well. And I mean, these players currently have a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah, there's no reason not to loot. I mean, these extra points, we've seen tiebreakers come down to, yeah, of course, you know, overall squad points, but also even just the difference in supply points. Like teams will have similar kills and it'll come down to supply points. Every 2 million that you get in your total stash is worth a point. That includes the technical alloy you get from kills, yes, but also the loot that you find on the map. So these little moments of finding reds and pushing yourselves up to, you know, 2 million like FX has, that's an extra point, and that goes a long way. I do want to take a moment too to shout out Marino, by the way. I know he had a tough luck there breaking his legs not too long ago after getting put to 1 HP on Brakkesh, but Marino is actually technically not a part of the starting roster for this FX team. They have a larger roster that they kind of rotate through. I don't necessarily know that he's technically a substitute, but is somebody that didn't start at the very beginning of group stages. So to see Marino starting is great. He actually also traveled with FX to DFIW, playing on the Warfare game as well, as part of that roster and as a sub. So long history at Delta Force in both modes, and a great guy as well. So shout out to FX. Let's see what they're able to do today.
So what you're trying to say is that Marino is skilled in Delta Force, period.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
There we go. I mean, I'm excited to see what Marino could be bringing through here. Of course, that introduction on Brakkesh was a little bit rough, but you know what? It's all about how you get up. Unfortunately, not having your legs broken anymore does make things considerably easier moving through the rest of this round. But now it is still going to be a predominant focus on loot. We can see 2 teams already getting a point on the board, at least with regards to with the loot. If they can actually get it up, right? That is going to be FX and MW sitting on 2 and 3.3 mil respectively. So a pretty decent session that they've been having so far. And this is now just that calm before the storm. As you can see, our first airdrop is going to be getting ready to come down very soon. And of course, that mission is currently underway.
Yeah, mission underway. This is going to be Leviathan likely picking that up, as they're the team that is closest to it. But for now, we stay patient and pay attention to these other teams. They're just trying to get some intel where they can and make sure they're not running into a trap, because like we say all the time with Tide Prison, the rats are in, and being ratty can sometimes pay. So you need to check all these corners or throw a sonar scan up, especially while you're rotating out in the open like this.
Information is key. That is always the thing here, and let's see what is going to be happening as FaZe now is very, very cautious as they move through the tunnels. Meanwhile, Articuno is going to be big chilling here. I think they might be hopefully trying to pick somebody up that is going to be trying to go for that extraction, because they've put zero effort into looting, right? They've got 15k to their name right now. So it doesn't seem like they are going to be focusing too heavily on getting their hands on the loot first. They'll instead wait for the loot to make its way over to them.
Patience is a virtue here on Tide Prison. We can respect that. We slow creep around. So it actually looks like WKF. Got some C4 planted. They're doing a little bit of looting of their own. Let's see it. It's going to be Lapua ammo. So I thought it was Leviathan that had grabbed the mission down below, but I think it was WKF that grabbed the mission on the north side. So they actually are the ones that finish up the GTI supply mission, then find the Great pickup there. AWM is going to be extremely valuable in the next round. I mean, you can use it this round if you're trying to just get some points on the board, but usually we would see a team like WKF use it if they have to, and if they don't, maybe take it out of bagless underwater.
Yeah, you got to play this very, very calculated. I mean, several points of value that you can find here. There we go, getting the cue that the airdrops have all been deployed, as we do see the big old airdrop is going to be incoming. Where is it going to go? Ooh, this is a position that could maybe put a little bit of heat coming over for the side here of the Evil Geniuses, right? Because the airdrop is going to be landing just to their west, especially now with FX up on the hillside trying to make their way through the water. Considering that water extraction, this could be an interesting one. Let's take a look and listen in on what they're saying.
That's in library? That's in library? Oh no, that's loading. That's loading to outside. They might be coming for this airdrop. We might be able to route the shot of this. That's 100% in loading. It's literally right there.
Bro, I want to go left, but there's a fucking shark.
If you have an SKS, you can just, it doesn't matter. You don't even need to, you just spam these guys in the water.
Yeah, but I want to be left so I can, like, actually have a good angle. I guess, then.
Watch out for the sharks. I respect a little listening to the comms, though, as FaZe find quite a bit more reds. Actually, Champagne as well. Another 700k, so it's a nice little mill. But yeah, that's funny comms from EG. But you know, well respected. I guess I suppose we've heard comms like that before, right? Like they're trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? How do we go where we want to go? Talking about maybe playing library. Do we want to actually play for this airdrop? Like, it's tough decisions. I would venture a guess that the teams aren't too worried about the airdrop. They're looking at it more as a way to play around 4 kills as an objective rather than just trying to get the loot themselves. We haven't seen a crazy amount of value from this second airdrop. It's kind of like a nice to have if you wipe a team. And so for now, they're actually mostly playing this position to hold this extract and make sure that they'll play for anybody that is either playing for the airdrop 1 or playing for the extract 2. It's a great way to get kills if you don't want to venture inside.
Well, I mean, they might be presented with that opportunity very soon, as we do see Marino is going to be down in the drink trying to swim up along the pipes, and this could be a beautiful surprise play coming in onto 2 of the players from the side of Evil Geniuses. Ooh, it doesn't seem to be that he's going to be looking to push in onto them directly. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That's pretty funny. They are, they're like, wait a minute. All right, is this a little BM? I don't know what that is for Muamua, but it's trying to make sure that if anybody peeks the corner, they'll get obliterated, but spotted one out in the water. And I think mostly the firing of the bullets here is to try to draw some aggro. They want this fight. They're in a power position. They want people this direction. And with Marino down, FX now trying to figure out, do we even try to aggress over towards Muo, who's got this gigantic LMG and just bullet hosing downrange?
I mean, I think it's fair to say that Momo is just broadcasting to the entire lobby exactly where they are. You know, saying to them, you know what, if you want to fight, this is where we are. Come forward. But in the meantime, it is going to be FX and FaZe that will need to find themselves in a bit of a situation, as FaZe has been able to sneak all the way up behind the side of FX. Good deployment of the utility coming through, but unfortunately not being able to find the exact position. Tabiozo, though.
Tamiozo unfortunately goes down. FaZe barrel stuff their opponents and take him out with ease. In the meantime, we did see actually Momo go down from a distance by Socio Legend. LEVIATAN striking while the iron's hot on the far side, catching them unaware. Look at Socio. He's actually on the rocks here on the beach, just outside of Warden's. And he's seemingly alone. Widows is playing on the far right-hand side on this other, I guess I'll call it the kind of like buoy where you can stand. This pillar in the water. Not the one where you can extract from, but an angle that is putting the pinch on Evil Geniuses. They're getting exactly what they wanted. They're getting some action. Now you got to figure out how to deal with it.
And there are sharks in the water, right? But not the ones that we're considering. It's going to be one that has weapons like this.
Way.
Ba, 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 ba. Oh, look at that.
FaZe, a piece. Muo down, Loco down. Gonna get the cleanup and then sell a little bit. Not really sure why we overextended there. Trying to get the full. Articuno is able to punish that push. We'll see if he's able to get the full cleanup on Diogod, who is slowly swimming away on red. A held angle by Snows, the covering fire that they need. There's a chance Dio is able to get back to safety. But in the meantime, so is Loco. Could see a res come through here, pending what Leviatan's able to do. And it looks like a very aggressive play from Sudoka. This is the right play. Put Articuno on his heels. Make sure this res doesn't come through. You've got the player advantage. You've got a little help from the distance, and that's exactly what happens. Down goes Evil Geniuses. Down goes Articuno. Finally, a map where Evil Geniuses won't be on top. Even though they stay on the top of the leaderboard, they at least don't win the map.
But I think they're pretty much okay with that, right? Because they were just looking to get those skill points to add even more pressure to this lobby. But with that now out of the way, it does open up the opportunity for the rest of the squads to get a little bit of something happening. There's not a lot of time left on the clock, though, as we have just under 5 minutes remaining. But it is going to be FaZe, though, looking to go straight for that airdrop and get their hands on the good loot inside.
Oh, Viren, okay. Here comes the knockdown. Time to move. Gonna go for it. Sprints through. Viren, very aggressive plays, and it pays off. Seabots gets one. Seabots gets two. The third on the run. Loud running for the hills after a great play with our Viren. 2 full wipes coming in. Now Loud is running away as fast as humanly possible. WKF. They had the and they didn't even have to use it. Knockdown coming through at the perfect time, and they just full swing on it. Classic.
Good to see that the tactics still holding pretty true here. W key forever, though, having an opportunity to get a bit of that reset going. But it might be short-lived, as we already see Leviathan knocking on the door. Ooh, Eclipse, you gotta watch out. We technically have 3 AWMs that have been found.
That's a great shot. Knocks one. Here's the push. Seabots finding the angle. In the meantime, WKF obliterating Leviathan as they go full sin. W key forever, finding 2 out of 3 members of Leviathan. And some decent damage coming in from Socio, but worried about getting shot in the back as well. Is going to keep swimming to try to stay alive. Pecky makes his way to land. And we are swapping back and forth between a bunch of different perspectives, but Seabot still has 2 more shots in that AWM. Watch out. Don't overpeak. Extraction are going to get there in time. Too late, Socio. All 3 members of FaZe are going to get the heck out of Dodge. Let's extract. We did our job. We got our kills. 6 mil in profits. Great job from FaZe.
Yeah, and of course, I'm pretty sure they picked up the AWM as well, right? The one that EG had in their bags. We did see that ammo getting found, so it might lead us to believe that something happened. Ooh, Peaky, though. Not a very squeaky clean push over on towards that extraction point. As of course, we saw it has already been up, so there's no point really going in this direction. But up comes Socio, just trying to find a few more points. And now with the entirety of WKF moving in this region, there could be some angles here for Social to try and play.
Yeah, they kind of just lost track of him in the water, and he was able to pop up and find the right timing to pick up that player in transition. Crab's going to think twice about challenging that after getting peppered. But a great job from Socio. At least, oh no, Loud, you can run and you can hide, but unfortunately, Seabots is hitting his shots today. 4 kills now for Seabots. WKF coming alive finally here in map 3 at the behest of the they picked up on this map. They finished the mission. They get the and they've used nearly all 5 bullets of it, but they desperately needed points, so why the heck not? 2 minutes or less on the clock right now. Nobody else is getting out of this lobby. It's going to be a bloodbath, but it's a 2v1 to wrap up Tide Prison.
Well, if they time the shots perfectly, they could maybe still get that pickup over onto Leviathan, but it's going to be Socio and Seabot now. Bop, bop, bop.
Nice.
And there we have it. Oh, full wipeout.
5 kills for Seabots, man. Came alive in this one. Helping out his team to win these engagements by getting that first knock with the is just so deadly. It's so valuable. And I'm always one that likes to play a little bit slower with that gun. If you were able to get it, not that I play pro, but since I've watched so much of it, if you're able to get it, using it for Metalvic rounds can just be so much more valuable. But hey, look, they needed points. Why not get them now? Quick look back on the replays of what happened. They lost track of Socio Legend. And he does get a full here, but Seabots finds the last remaining member of him, W Loud, on the backside for his 4th, and then he picks up his 5th on Socio eventually there on the platform. So great job. Gonna just throw into the safe box whatever you can. Does look like WKF will unfortunately leave their on the map, which is why they were fairly intent on using the gun and its ammo. You can't put the ammo in the safe box. That is one of our rules in game. So they're gonna throw whatever else they can in the safe box. I saw somebody in chat ask about dog tags, and I think it was answered. But as a quick reminder about dog tags, they start out in the first round as only 50K a piece. It's still much more valuable, of course, than pubs. But then they grow in value. By the time we're moving into Space City, they're 150K a piece. It's a lot of value per dog tag. So get your kills, loot the bodies if you can as well. WKF with a big, big game. And Evil Geniuses, one of the first teams to get knocked with hardly anything to show for it. Only a kill or 2 a piece. So a great job by WKF to slowly creep back up this leaderboard after a frustrating first 2 maps. They find the rhythm in Tide Prison.
Yeah, they need the rhythm. They got the flow, and now we need to see how they're going to look to implement that moving into the remainder of the day, because that is the end of eco runs right now. It is going to be just Mandelbrick, Mandelbrick, Mandelbrick. So FaZe Clan coming through with a beautiful setup here. 5 kills going their way. A decent chunk of change as well, as they do get that extraction and the AWM. So curious to see how they're going to look to utilize that moving forward from here. But yeah, overall, I'd say a very decent run coming through from the FaZe Clan.
Yeah, good job from FaZe. They pick up 5. WK Forever pick up 6. But FaZe all get out, like you mentioned, with 2 mil apiece. Means they're picking up 3 points out of that 6 mil in supply points, plus the 5 kills that they got. That's a great game of Tide Prison, and a bit more of an aggressive game than we've seen in the past as well. These 2 groups playing against each other, something in the water. They want to fight, which I respect. But Seabot's the big winner in the kill category, picks up 5 using that Mr. Diogod not too far behind at 4. Next up is also on WKF, Pecky. It was a very one-sided Tide Prison, but a lot of fighting.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we got to see a little bit of that one-sidedness coming through here, but either which way it was filled with action and like where it was going. Of course, a lot of damage being brought in here by Seabots, just utilizing the living goodness out of that AWM. But things looking pretty decent across the board, though. I mean, top assists also very consistent. You can see WKF being pretty dominant here. We do see Al Snows also stepping up there for the side of FaZe. So the presence is with them, but now can they look to take it the full distance? And of course, aside from the top assists, we also are going to be taking a look to see who got the most in their bag. The top assets is going to be going over to Sidoka, that was able to find that 2.2 mil right alongside the 2.1 and the straight up 2 coming through from the rest of the team.
Yeah, great job for these guys. Again, those kills are also going to net them some extra value. So a really solid, nearly double-digit map from FaZe. But WKF, they've got the MVP from the round. 5 kills with the plus a little extra. 800 nearly damage and a decent amount of assets in the safe box. Good job from WKF to come alive in Tide Prison. But folks, Tide Prison is fun in its own way. But it's time for Mandelbrick rounds, man. We're going to Space City till we're done, or we go to Game 7. And DK, I can't be more excited to see who picks up our second Mandelbrick. Or who knows? Maybe it could be evil. They could pick up the second and close it out in 4. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure they're going to try this, right? We've seen it before. I want to see them pull it off this time, right? That would be very, very interesting indeed. But of course, only time will tell. While we wait, be sure to go check out all the social media links there that we do have for Delta Force, and get your hands on that website, as well as you can take a look at the eSport section. They'll give you all the information about the Rise series, both for EMEA and America. So be sure to go check it out.
Yeah,
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that. It's an absolute sweat. This. And LG's got to know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's going to be hopping off to that.
My name is Eclipse, and I play Flex. I play Smokes in the early games and Recon in the late game. I first got into this game from my teammate Widows. We used to play another game together, and I saw him in a chat one day playing it, and I was watching for a little bit, and it looked like fun, so I just decided to download it and start playing it. I heard about it a long time ago from like a random YouTube video, and I played a couple games in season 1, and I didn't really have anyone to play the game with, so I didn't really touch it again until I saw Widows playing it in a VC. I found Widows from another game. We've known each other for a long time, and we started playing this game together. We found Socio Legend just through some like friends discords, and we started playing the game with him, and then we got into the scrim cord and just started practicing and ended up staying together as a team. When we all first started playing the game, we were just playing Zero Dam like anyone else, just playing the game consistently. And then we got into the scrim server, started playing scrims. It started off all right, weren't winning too often. We had like a 10% win rate in our first season. And as we continued to play, we got better and better and ended up getting around a 30 to 40% win rate in the past couple scrim seasons. I think the achievement we're all most proud of in our team is winning the last Global League. We put in a lot of time practicing for that tournament. We were actively playing the game often, and we were really, really glad when it all came together and we won the last Global League. Our biggest chaos moment would be back in the last Global League. It was the last game of the series, and I put myself in a bad spot. Kills all rolled out on me to try and get a free kill, and he whiffed 15 bullets. I fried him. My teammates killed the other 2. We went on to decode the brick and wipe the rest of NL and win the whole tournament. I think an in-game moment that gets everybody in the tournament scene's blood pumping is when you're decoding a brick. You got a lot of teams contesting you on each side. Everyone's trying to go for it, and you're holding it off between 3-4 teams that are trying to push for it. And when you finally like secure that brick and wipe all the other teams, it's a really relieving feeling. My advice for anyone that's new to the game is just play it consistently. Watch scrims because they get casted often, or people playing and then we'll stream them. You just want to play the game consistently, and if you can get your hands on the scrims, you should get in those and start playing those and watch back your plays. It'll really help you improve as a player.
The enemy got the mantle bricks. Find and stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator. The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator. Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first goes around, comes around.
Oh, not gonna do very much. Though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series, Day 3, Week 2, Americas. It's Group B and C, and we just wrapped up Tide Prison. And take a look at W Key Forever. They leapfrog up this leaderboard and find themselves in second place. You might be saying, wait a minute, they've got the most squad points. Why is that? Well, Evil Geniuses, they've got a Mandel Brick. That's our first win condition. They got it in Brakkesh, and then Tide Prison did not go their way. They lose a couple points. They find their way to 17. W Key Forever leading the pack in second with 8. FaZe Clan with a great last map, though, do pick up 17 in total at the end of 3. DK, FaZe looking like they are playing much better than in the past. They needed these points, a big moment to keep up some momentum.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like they are looking to shift things into high gear, and that is a good kind of pacing that we have, especially seeing that we've got Space City coming in next, and it's going to be a mad dash to see if any team is going to be able to double brick themselves here today, right? That is going to be the main objective at hand, so curious to see who is going to look to get any of that going. But what we also do see is that Fluxo, they've not found themselves any kills at all today, right? They have only the 2 squad points that has come through from the supply points they've been able to secure across the first 3 rounds of the day. So Space City is going to be important for them in a different kind of way, right? They need to try and add on the aggression. They need to try and get those kill points. Heck, even to get their hands on a Mandel Brick, that'd be a bonus, but I wouldn't make that their main focus right now.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I mean, I love these guys. FX is a great team, but they are really struggling today. Something's got to give, and it's got to be right now here on Space City, folks. This is match point only for Evil Geniuses. We could play all the way up to 7 if no team's able to capture 2 bricks, but we've got a Mandel Brick on every map going forward. Of course, if we do get the map 7, could be Brakkesh, could be Space City, pending what the team in last chooses. But for now, it's Space City till we're done. So, round 4, Space City. What do you expect from some of these teams? What do they need to do? Well, they need to pay attention to their operator selections. We talk about meta comps. It's Space City time, which means it's Tempest time. Not every team will run a Tempest necessarily, but you're going to see every team run a Tempest on Space City. It is the most valuable operator in the game. That emergency evasion device is everything for grabbing the brick off spawn or grabbing a steal on the decoding stations. This is the most popular comp by a mile. Tempest, Stinger, Luna. You can occasionally sub in different operators that also have smokes or the abilities, healing abilities. You sometimes will see like a Toxic up here on main stage here on Space City, but in general you need smokes, and then you need a Luna to be able to see through those smokes, and then ideally a Tempest. But DK, a quick glance at those tier 1 spawns and who could get them is important, but it's time for some Space City, man. What's the most important part is who gets this next brick. So before we get into the gameplay, I do have another giveaway, folks. Redeemable code is about to pop up on your screen. There it is, 1,000 Delta tickets right here on your screen. You can redeem them as quickly as possible. You got to type it in perfectly to get it. Only 15 redemptions. Go get your 1,000 Delta tickets. 15 of you going to be the lucky 15 with the fastest fingers out here watching America's region. Type it in as fast as humanly possible. Get your redemption. Only 15. If you miss it, pay attention a little bit later. We got a couple more giveaways coming your way. This will be the final one that looks like a code, though. The others, you have to listen to my call-outs, all right? Here we go. DK, take it away. It's Space City time.
Yep, it's going to be go, go, go. And, of course, taking a look at who got our tier 1 spawns. It is going to be the side there of W Key Forever that do find themselves with an early go at that west bridge, but already the pressure being applied here from MW. I like where their heads at as they look to go straight for the aggressive play.
Oh,
do
nice
find themselves the first pickup. Can they get the wrap up? Not yet, but this opens up the floodgate for the pressure now.
Really well done from MW. It is the most dangerous spawn in Space City. This Westgate spawn is brutal, and they weren't quite able to sneak through the smoke in time. So losing 1 means W Key Forever is down bad right now. Either do you stick around and try to win a 2v3 so you get your buddy back, or do you leave and try to play 2v3 for the rest of the game, essentially. I think stay. I think you stay and fight. You hold MW, make them push to you, play a little bit slow. Quick look at operators. We do see that everybody's running a Tempest. Yes, WK Forever also running a Tempest. Unfortunately, the player that went down was their Tempest player.
Well, WK Forever not going to be backing off of it just yet, or there might be the Tempest down.
Look
They're
at
going
that.
to try and apply the pressure. Yeah, in the meanwhile, EG, though, get their hands on the brick, and off they go to the decode. Every time EG is in the lobby, they are usually the first team onto that mantle brick.
Evil Geniuses go quick. Quick look at the operators and, of course, what they're bringing in. You can only buy gold once. You see MW, you see FaZe, and Evil Geniuses all burn it here right now. They want to make sure they have an advantage to kick things off. Evil Geniuses, sometimes you see a team that already have a brick play slow in map 4. Not the case. Evil Geniuses want to close it out right here, right now. They've got Tempest, and they've got full golds. They're ready to win, and so far, they're doing just that. They've got the brick. They've started the decode. And I think for the big Delta Force esports fans out there, the old heads in particular, there used to be a notification that said, hey, a team on match point is decoding. No longer, folks. If teams elect to not contest this, Evil Genius will close out this match and we'll be done in 4. Here comes the engagement, though.
Ooh. Quick hit, though, coming through onto the side there of Buldora. WK Forever, though, bringing a lot of that pressure in. Still quite a bit of a contentious angle being held over onto West Gate. But as you've seen, the rest of the lobby not really being too concerned with what's happening over on this far side. It does open up the angles for both teams, though, to try and lock it in. But WK Forever, though, they could maybe find themselves in quite a bit of a setup, especially pushing up towards the ramp, right? Where the Evil Geniuses did get the decoding underway. But a pretty good defense, though, coming through from WK Forever, right? Kind of just keeping MW from pushing in onto them. It might change very soon as they are going to look to gain entry here.
Yeah, I mean, they really can't push for this brick until they deal with MW, though. They're actually stuck right now. And they did a good job of using Tempest to go, or sorry, using these smokes to go get their Tempest. Now up on their feet, maybe they can make a play here. MW pushing forward, and they did get the full res off Yellow Timer. A mistake from MW not to move fast enough to prevent this res. They heard the res going through. Just make the push. Make them play you 3v2. And now look at this. Leviathan is going to come join the fight. You took too long, WKF. Picky goes down. You're down to a duo yet again, and that is your Tempest again going down, which means they're out of this lobby. There's nothing to stay here for. Your teammate's down, and now you're in deep trouble. MW, got to choose who they want to fight. Let Leviathan do the damage, or hopefully strike first. Take down WKF so they can actually fight a fully healthy Leviathan. Here comes Leviathan, though, finding an angle on a... This is bad. This is really bad. Loud goes down. Leviathan is doing whatever they want on the map, and Crab is also making MW being put in a blender, getting traded by Widows. This is Leviathan all day. A big win for them while WKF just fight for scraps.
Yeah, some easy pickups coming through there. So, yeah, Leviathan, they are going to be smiling all the way through. We could also maybe see a little bit of something coming through there from Loco, but I don't expect that to happen. As we see Loco on the bridge, keeping a tight angle here. But this is just an open season play now for Leviathan to step up and just kind of have their way with that western side. Rapids, though, again, is going to be the lone survivor as he escapes.
Yeah, here's the problem. I know we love fights, and those fights are very fun. Third-party fights outside of the brick is best case scenario for Evil Geniuses. Again, nobody knows that they're the match point team decoding. Everybody just knows that they're decoding. We have 60 seconds left. Leviathan's being shot by FaZe. Everybody's chalking each other on the way to the brick. And what is left is Evil Geniuses with the free second brick, and an Evil Geniuses win if somebody doesn't do something about it. The only team that's even close now is FaZe, who's not in a fight. FaZe has got to be the heroes of match 4. But they're running out of daylight.
Yeah. And FX is all the way on that far southern side, right? They've been waiting over towards that far edge to see if anybody's going to dare venture up through that, but only now they start to move on forward. FaZe, though, getting closer and closer, but again, not fully committing to pushing and contesting this mantle break. So this could very well be a free pickup coming in. We do see Mr. Diogod getting ready for some business as he is going to start to move up, but Loco going to send it out as well. Yeah, they're not going to make it. This is going to be EG.
It's too late. Everybody took too long. They're fighting outside the brick. They didn't know that Evil Genius had just won the match. Ladies and gentlemen, at least here in America, is the first 4-game series in the Delta Force Rise series. 2 bricks, done and dusted. Evil Geniuses feeling confident, full swing on FaZe, who came in too late to the function and are getting obliterated by an Evil Geniuses team who's already won the lobby. They're just getting the kills for the extra cash. My goodness, what a wild turn of events. Nobody can test the brick because they're all fighting each other. And now everybody else is just looking for whatever cash they can find. Placement matters here, DK, for everybody else. Who's going to get second is going to come down to squad points.
Yep, and this is your time to double down, right? So if FX want to do a little bit of some over here, if they need to step it up, they need to get involved in the fights, because pretty soon there's not going to be a lot of opposition left for them to contest against. Baldora, though, going to be falling to the wayside there, as we do see MW getting swept up and put away. Down to the final 4 we go. And yeah, again, FX, I think this was the missed opportunity for them, especially in this round, right? Just focusing so heavily on that far southern side. They missed all the fights.
I can't, I got to stop bringing up kills on when he's not even playing. But they are perfect. They have 30 points. They have won every match they've played. And he had such an iconic quote that we have quoting because it's so dang important. And it keeps rearing its ugly head in these matches. You've got to take the game into your own hands. WKF getting cut down here. Evil Genius is just having their way with the map. You can't rely on the other teams to play the map for you. You can't rely on the other teams to stop the brick. You've got to go do it yourself. And nobody did that in this one. Everybody was hoping somebody else would do the dirty work for them. They were fighting outside. Evil Geniuses wiped WKF. Just using their player advantage and their confidence to know that they get to dictate the results of the final day of week 2. Good grief.
I mean, some good players coming through here, but of course, you know, on the topic of free decodes, that's exactly what happened with SSG yesterday as well on their first mantle break, right? They got a free decode because everybody else was focusing on each other. No one being all too concerned with what was happening with that mantle break. So I would really hope to see that we have a bit of a focus shift coming through from the teams really looking to place a lot more importance on these mantle bricks, because as we know, it's what wraps up the day quick and fast. And talking about wrap-ups, Socio getting hit with a nasty one there.
Yeah, he had a really good angle actually on Muo, but Articuno made a strong play over the top side. They weren't expecting him on here. And because he had this angle, was just able to rain, yes, covering fire for his team. Muo's back on his feet after popping Tempest-ult, but now all 3 up. And LEVIATAN down to a solo as well. Evil Geniuses may wipe this entire lobby after getting their second brick. I mean, this is the most one-sided match we've seen thus far, regardless of who's been in it. LEVIATAN looking for their kill points, though. These are all important. And unfortunately, an overpeak. Marino striking while the iron's hot and finding a nice kill. They're first, by the way. FX finally getting some points on the board. I don't know if it's going to be enough to take down any of the other teams in the lobby. You can see total score on the left. They're still 4 points behind MW.
I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to the kind of tactic that the teams move in here with, right? Are they coming in with a sole focus on aggression, or are they going to look to try and win the day? It does seem like each approach was to win the day. FX, though, and the rest of the lobby seems like they might have had a little bit of a different approach here to try and score points through predominantly focusing on getting those kills in. I mean, for FX, though, not a bad run. Damiozo was able to get 1 in. We've not seen much come through for Marino just yet, but there could be a few up for grabs here. Loco, though, ooh, on the money with the response, and that is going to be Evil Geniuses walking away currently with 7 kills to their name.
We needed this. It's actually shameless though. We get free brick. That is insane.
Yeah, it's actually shameless.
I mean, that's just what kills all.
Look at the lobby.
Kills all. Yeah, good shit. Just run extract. We don't have to loot. Money means nothing.
Squad points, no?
No. Oh yeah, it might come down to that actually. For a second. Yeah, we should. I guess we just milk through the lobby.
Just a little bit. Just a little.
Yeah, I'll just get the bridge bodies. Good shit. Artie, you're MVP. I think you have most kills. You're about to have to do the interview. Bless up. I did
I'm
not
not doing
want
that
to do
shit.
that.
I lost my voice.
No, you have to, bro. You're MVP. We're sending Mumu then. Mumu's the PR.
No, we're sending Loco, bro.
No. No.
I have social anxiety.
I don't, but I'll pretend. Shit. Free brick, but
I don't want to.
please don't make me.
Can we just go extract?
Yeah, I'll just come. I don't even know where the bodies are.
Hilarious. Listen in there right after the end of a game that, as they said so bluntly, a free brick. That's exactly what it was. And they were just laughing and talking. They did bring up an interesting point while we have a second, folks. Yes, standings do matter. DK highlighted it at the top of the show. We've got group stage standings where you get first place and you get both bricks, which is exactly what Evil Geniuses did today. They pick up 10 points. Can I remind you, Evil Geniuses going into this competition, we're at 4th. They pick up 10. That'll put them to 21 total points from 11 to 21. That'll put them in 2nd place overall in our group stage standings at the end of week 2, halfway through our group stage. This is a big moment for them, and the rest of the teams are scrambling and scraping for any points they can get their hands on, but Evil Geniuses kill them all. It's gonna come down to the mathematicians behind the scenes to figure out who's going to be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th, because the rest of the teams, they're not alive, DK. They've got no say in things.
And that just shows the importance of playing a good game all the way across the board, right? I mean, Evil Geniuses, they had a master plan in mind here, and they just stepped up. They fully capitalized on what the lobby was doing, and they walked away. Really wrap up on the day here, and as you said, those points going to just go the distance for them, and it is going to potentially put them all the way up in 2nd, so a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, really well done. They had the best team, no question about it. Picked up 7 kills on the map. Got the mantle break extracted as well. How about 6 million in gentlemen, or nearly so. Really well done. They talked about squad points mattering, and yes, they do. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we see our group stage leaderboards, but in general, when you double brick like this, especially when you go perfect in a match, the first time we've seen a team actually go perfect, they pick up the mantle brick in 2 and then round 4, and we're done already. This is big for them, because it also prevents the other teams from picking up any extra points. Nobody else picks up a mantle brick point for their group stage rankings. This is the most dominant performance we've seen thus far, and it's at the back of a guy like this, Articuno, making great calls, great plays, finding nice flanks, finding high ground positions on some interesting fights, but also just making the call. Let's get to the brick and immediately plant it. Let's go all gold on round 4. Let's go for the win, and they secure it. Most damage, most kills, and a lot more between Evil Geniuses. Loco there as well. Socio Legend did what he could, finding some nice flanks, but the problem with their flanks and the third-party fights they were taking, DK Leviathan was wiping teams outside of the brick, because that's who they're running into first.
Yeah, I mean, a good return on investment coming through from the teams that heavily played and relied on the gold here, but as you know, at the end of the day, it can only go so far. And yeah, I think Leviathan, they played a phenomenal position coming in and applying quite a bit of that pressure as we saw early on. But at the end of the day, it is going to be who is sitting right here, right? Our top asset owners on this one and walking away with a decent chunk of change as it amounts up to just over 5 million, I would say, based on the numbers, without trying to do all too much math just yet. But hey, overall, Articuno is going to be the MVP of this particular round, picking up those 5 kills and, of course, 1.8 in acids, as well as almost hitting 800 damage to back that up.
Yeah, really well done from Articuno. I thought he did a great job in team fights, but again, this map was just free for them. Once they got the brick, there's something about playing with confidence that changes everything. They don't really care if they die. I mean, they want the extra cash. It's $50 per kill, so might as well go get it. He picked up $250 in that round alone with his 5 kills, so a big shout out to Articuno. But sometimes just playing with confidence, and playing like there's nothing to lose, because for them there wasn't, allowed them just full swing on a couple teams like FaZe after they got the brick. They picked up so many more kills on the map to really add insult to injury for their win. So a big shout out to Evil Geniuses. They dominate today. Most dominant performance yet. Back of a guy like Articuno, Muamuo, and of course, Loco. So a great job. Now, folks, before we head to hopefully an interview here shortly, and before we wrap up, it is time for our final giveaway. This is your chance to win 3,000 Delta tickets, folks. Get your Delta tickets right now. All you have to do if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook is enter !giveaway in the chat. If you're watching on X, just repost the live stream. Now, we'll announce the winners in chat on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you're watching on X, we'll announce the winner in the comments under the live stream. Good luck out there. Type in !giveaway to enter into our giveaway, and you'll see the winners pulled in chat, okay? Big chance to win 3,000 Delta tickets wherever you are watching all over the place here with Delta Force. It's been a ton of fun to watch some fantastic action and the fastest match we've seen in group stages yet, DK. I'm pumped to hear what Evil Geniuses have to say in just a moment.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see which one of the Evil Geniuses we are going to be, hearing from soon. I mean, in perfect troll fashion, we'd love to speak to the one that doesn't want to speak to us, right? That's just kind of, that's the way it goes. Like, oh, you don't want to speak? No, well, we'll ask you all the difficult questions, right? But I think overall, Evil Geniuses, they were presented with a great opportunity, right? I mean, was this handed to them? No, because they still played a very strategic position, right? They kind of still got themselves into the places where they needed to be to try and drive that one home. And, it happened to be the quickest match that we've had so far, but I think this is definitely a big learning opportunity for the rest of the teams is focus. You need to focus. Those little things that you can pick up, they're worth quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a dominant performance from Evil Geniuses means we got to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, Loco, joining us here in the booth for a quick interview. And I know he didn't want to be here, but we got to bring him in because this guy is deadly on the map. Loco, first of all, congratulations, my friend. Sorry we had to force you in here, but I got a couple questions for you because how the heck does it feel to go perfect, man? A 4-round win, a free brick. What was going through you guys' heads as you finished up round 4 and we're like, oh, I guess we won?
I'm gonna be honest, we really weren't expecting it to be that easy. No one contested the brick. We just got insanely lucky. I mean, that was just very lucky.
Yeah, a quick follow-up for you, Loco. I think this is the question that a lot of folks want to hear asked, so I've got to ask it now. Yesterday, we saw Spacestation Gaming go perfect and win, and we asked Killzall. DK had a great question. We asked him, who does he actually fear on the map? And he said you. He said, Loco, that guy's crazy. What do you think? Is there a rivalry there? Do you just have that gunny? Do you have his number? What else said that, and do you have a response?
I didn't know that he said that at all. I mean, me and Killzall have always just had a little bit of fun and trash talk and stuff, but I had no idea he said that. I mean, I think if there's one team that's better than us, it's SSG in my opinion. I think they're the only team that's on par.
Fair enough.
Well, it does seem like you guys are definitely bringing in the heat and trying to make the competition quite challenging for them. And yeah, realistically looking at where you are, it does look to be pretty close. But what would you say is your overall approach when you come into the day, like today, for instance, right? Stepping into the match, is your focus on trying to get the mantle bricks as quickly as possible, or are you trying to play a little bit more of a strategic approach?
I think as a team, we always try to contest the mantle brick no matter what. I think that we changed our playstyle coming into this, and it worked out for us. We try to play a little bit slower in game 1. And it worked out for us. We do try to fight for bricks always, though.
Yeah, I mean, we can tell. You got to the brick first, you started the decode, and then nobody contested you. Now, what you probably didn't see is there was a bunch of fights happening off brick, and so everybody got into a quagmire before they got to you. But Loco, talk to me about your roster, man. This is a really fun roster for me. I've been casting over a lot of you guys for a while, and it kind of came together as we prepare for the Delta Force Rise series. And then you looked around at each other and were like, wait, we're really freaking good. How did the team link up? How do you guys know each other? What was the final roster decisions?
Regarding the roster, me and Articuno were with a different teammate for a long time, but he didn't end up being able to play. So we were really a last-minute roster coming to Mumu, in recent tournament settings. I think that we all, but regarding that, me and Articuno have been friends for a long time, and Articuno's been friends with Mumu, so it kind of just all clicked together pretty well.
Oh, interesting to hear that things are going quite well. So for my final question to you, the question is going to be, right, if you could come in with any specific loadout, locked into one thing, and let's say everybody had to play with that at least round, right? What loadout would you say weapon-wise?
I've been really enjoying the QJB. I think that gun's really fun, and I think that's what I'd go for.
I love it. Loco, congratulations again, man. Thanks for joining us in the booth. I want to give you the floor, though. You've got a fantastic organization that you're being backed by that has a long history in esports, Evil Geniuses. The floor is yours. What do you want to say to your org, your fans, your haters? What do you got?
I just want to say I really appreciate EG for giving us this opportunity. And I wanted to also shout out Grimmy. He's been encouraging us and very supportive to us for a very long time. I really appreciate him. And then regarding the haters, I don't think I really have any. I think I'm just pretty chill with everybody.
I love it, man. Evil Geniuses, Grimmy, the GOAT. Yeah, okay, there you go. You got one hater you want to shout out, man. Congratulations again. Seriously, this is a big moment for you guys. You should move into second place overall in the group stage standings, and I'm sure we'll see very much more from you guys next week. So cheers, and good luck out there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, cheers. That's Loco, Evil Geniuses. DK, I'm sorry I stole your question about Killzall, but it was nagging on the back of my brain because that guy is good, man. Loco is scary, and if Killzall is afraid of him, then I think everybody else should be as well. Evil Geniuses dominate today.
Yeah, I mean, it tells you a lot about what they bring to the table here. And of course, it is going to be 30 squad points able to secure. And I mean, this is a very, very decent performance from them, right? I mean, it's, as you said, right? Perfect. Not much that we can really say that would change anything from what we've seen happen so far. But looking at the other teams, right, I also want to give just a bit of a shout out to the teams that have tried to apply the pressure here today, right? They really tried to bring everything that they could find, but of course it was difficult to go up against Articuno and the rest of the team, as Articuno is going to be our match MVP again. No surprise on that. 9 overall kills going his way, as well as 11.4 in assets and almost hitting 2,400 damage. So a very big contribution being made by him for the team there. But as we know, at the end of the day, the team is going to be quite happy with where they are currently situated, all the way up in that second place. Hard work has paid off for them. But of course, as I was saying, right, looking at the rest of the teams, they see where they are now, and they know exactly what they need to focus on coming into the next few days of play.
Yeah, and it's super interesting to see our new overall leaderboard because it tells the full story of where we're at. Evil Geniuses and Spacestation Gaming have felt like the top two teams, and now they officially can say that they are. Team Liquid have been slaying out like crazy. Look at that total kill points, still technically in first at 62 over Spacestation Gaming 60. Otherwise, WKF after their win still pick up a couple points today, which is nice. Team Nadeshot still well within contention, and LEVIATAN actually fall after what I thought was a pretty good performance today. But when a team goes double brick and everybody else goes to points and you get wiped, it's a little tough to earn some extra points. So they only pick up a couple. They find their way to 13 overall, which puts them in 6th. FX don't move at all, even though they had a brutal day today. They still find themselves in 7th. Everybody else fairly close by. MW is the big story as well, as they are still down there in 3rd, in 10th with 3 points. Not really finding much on the map right now. They really need to turn things around in the second half of our group stages.
Yeah, I would realistically say that the best possible position for or approach for teams to take sitting on that right-hand side, especially to the lower side, is play a WKF play like they did in the previous day, right? Bring that in. If you can perform like WKF performed earlier in this weekend, that is exactly the kind of pacing you need to bring through to get yourself out of that danger zone and further up the board, right? Do what these players do over here, right? Killzall, Mendo, both sitting on 30 kills. Still no change on that end, but we do see Loco creeping up right there alongside them, and of course Grab, who we spoke to last week.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, these top 3, again, the deeper we get into our group stages, the stats will become more and more what I would call obvious, right? This is matching what we're seeing in game. You're able to see these 3 players pop off in a giant way in comparison to other players with how many kills they're able to find. So to see these 3 players having the top kills and top damage is no surprise to me, and should be no surprise to any of our viewers as well. These are our top individual fraggers, and now they have the top individual damage numbers as well, with Killzall in a pretty significant lead. This is where things get a little crazy. This shows the dominance of Spacestation Gaming and how much loot value Killzone and Spacestation Gaming have been able to find because they extract more often than the other teams, and they also just get more kills than other teams, which yields more assets. But to be almost nearly double what Mindo has in second is unbelievable. So I'll keep singing the praises there, as this leaderboard is still astonishing to look at. But Mindo finds himself in second. Crab moves his way up to third, and we actually don't even see Loco on this leaderboard unless I'm blind. It's actually from that roster, it looked like maybe it was Articuno down there a little bit lower, but still fun stuff there on our individual leaderboards. DK, we got to talk schedule though. Week 3, week 4 are next. We are halfway through our group stages, and we'll be back Friday, Saturday, Sunday next weekend for Group C, D to kick things off on Friday.
Yep, it's going to be hot. It's going to be heated. We're going to be having Leviathan, MV, and Fluxo stepping up against BTH, Team Nadeshot, and Team Liquid. So definitely going to be a match to watch. Be sure that you've subscribed and followed everywhere you need to. Be sure that you are on the social medias to stay up to date with everything that's going to be happening and all the insanity these teams are going to be bringing in as we start with the second half of the week of the group stage.
Second half of the group stages, folks. If you find yourselves on the right side of the leaderboard, like DK said, it's time to flip the script. Get in the scrims, get in the lab, start practicing, because practice makes perfect, and you got to catch some of the top teams if you want a chance to even play in week 5. The bottom 2 teams don't even make it to that 5th week. DK already shouted it out. Make sure you're dropping a follow on all major socials to stay up to date on all things Delta Force Rise series. And of course, go get your hands on the game. It's free to play. Download it now. Play Season Meltdown. It's a ton of fun. There's a ton going on. But DK, any final thoughts for the broadcast before we close this thing out nice and early?
I want to be able to sit here with marshmallows, right? Because of all the heat that we have coming off of these plays, right? That's what I want to do. I want the teams to bring it. I'll be bringing the marshmallows, no doubt about that. So, yeah, I hope I don't have to sit here and eat cold marshmallows next week.
Fair enough. We need some heat, says DK. And folks, same time, same place next week. America's in the evening if you're over here in the Central Time Zone, and EMEA in the morning. Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the next 2 weeks is group stages. That final 5th week, 3 weeks from now, is going to be the finals of the Delta Force Rise series. You're not going to want to miss it. But for now, one more quick reminder is that we couldn't do it without you, the viewer. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that, it's an absolute sweat. This